Hello. How are you, guy? Ha 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 ha! See? I always do 'em. How you doing? Good evening. Good morning, good afternoon. We're live. If you're watching it later, guys, thanks for having a look in. I just thought I'd surprise you again. Why not? Okay. Thanks for last night. Last night was excellent. Superb live. Everybody who was involved, fantastic. Really loved it last night. The only thing was Akash came on and he was waiting patiently to talk about a subject, so that I put that in the title. So if that comes on, guys, we're going to be listening to a bit of flat earth stuff. That's if he comes on. I think it's only fair because no one took a breath last night and he ended up going, and I felt a bit guilty about that because he stuck around for a while and wanted to talk about it, and so did I. But you know what happens on here sometimes, and it's like never stops in all directions. All right, let's have a look then. Who's the Paul? Don't forget, Biker will be on in a bit, guys. Paul Hutt, how you doing? Good to see you. UK Transparency. Close but no cigar. One day you'll get there. Ron, how you doing, Ron? At last, you know what I mean. Finally, thanks very much, mate, and for that as well. Paul Yeoman as well. How many Pauls have we got? Bloody hell. Paul, how you doing, mate? Good to see you back at... Right, so I'm going back now. That's right. Alligator, thanks for the last night, mate. Appreciate that. I always do. Thanks very much indeed. But more than that, your company and your support and everything like that on the lives. Fantastic. Indigo's there as well, also known as Susie. Not Susie Quattro, is it? Because that's Connie Thunder, you see. That's what I mean about last night as well. Connie Thunder stole the show, and it was absolutely fantastic. A revelation. Loved every second of that. And I knew the day, well, I weren't for sure. I didn't know for sure, but I got told Connie Thunder is not a woman. It's a man. And last night was fantastic. Thanks, Connie, if you're listening. Superb. Brilliant stuff. Great vibes. Great vibes. So thanks for last night, everyone who were involved. Superb. So Ron Crossland's there, my guy, my future cameraman. Video coming up fairly soon. Charlie, higher. Jolly spiffing. See you, super. Shirley's there, guys. Charlotte, Lottie, whatever you want to call her. There she is. Wash hands, run, right, okay. Wolf, as bloody always, is in there saying hello. Fantastic. How are you doing? Good to see you. And of course, you're always welcome on. Good evening, guys. Fantastic. AJ Smith as well. How are you doing? Hello. Right, that was quick. Oh, Rice popped in as well. Right, a gangster man. He's not really a gangster. Not anymore, anyway. He's right. He's a loving guy, aren't you, Ray? Dave, there is a moose loose about the house at the minute, but where the bloody hell have you been? Don't give me any crap excuse, Dave. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I'll never forget that night you came on, Dave. Fantastic, mate. You surprised me, and you was brilliant. You had us all in stitches. Brilliant. Keep it that way, right? I'm here for a chat whenever. Just don't bug me that often, right? No, I'm only joking. No, I mean it, but I'm being polite about it. Get in touch if you want to chat. Right. I thought that'd be quick tonight on that one. So I may as well bring Biker on.
Go get it.
Hey, up mate, how you doing?
Yeah, all right, all good. All good.
Sound.
Good evening,
Thanks for
everybody.
coming on at short notice, by the way.
It's all right. You Obi. Send it, Bill. Don't want to cut.
He's after a pay rise, but seeing the cost of living, what's good? I'm only joking. So here he is, guys. And thanks
Pay
for
rise.
everybody to come in.
What I'm going to get? 0%. 0% of fuck all. Still going to be fuck all, isn't it?
Do you know what? These volunteers, oh, what they like. oh, Purple Spliff. Not seen you about for a while. Hope you're okay. Good to see you. If you want to talk about anything, guys, it's up to you. Tell us what you know. What have you been up to? Have you been eating your turnips? They're good for you, you know.
Well, they're not good if you've got no teeth, mate. Can't chew them. Just got to suck on them till they go mushy.
Some kind of, I don't know, soup or pureed turnip with coriander or something. But don't forget, you've got to work longer hours to do that as well.
Right. Evening, Sparky. Just dropped in. I'm watching you earlier, but you didn't see me. Don't mind.
Sorry, I'm just going back for a couple of stories. What have been going on?
Stories.
Well, I suppose so. Yeah, with it coming from mainstream, but you know, schools are protesting on toilets, something to do with toilets and red card period for girls. What's the world coming to? That's just one story, and there's evidence of that, even though it's come from mainstream. You know, it's not always entirely true, but you do get a picture of what's going on. And then we've got bloody parents who bloody left an obese daughter to die. And I'm sorry, but, you know, I hope you've not eaten yet, but, you know, infested by maggots, and they've only been in jail for 13 years. This is someone's daughter. This is the sick stuff, what's going on now, but sick stuff has been going on for a long time, for far too long.
Certainly has. I'm watching the news coverage over the last couple of days about a couple that's been arrested, and the baby's missing. A 2-month-old baby is missing, and they're searching for this 2-month-old baby. Now, from what I understand, there's been they got arrested for child negligence with manslaughter. So if they've been arrested for that, then that means that the little one is no longer there, and I think they're looking for the body now. But that's there, but there seems to be a bit of coverage about it, but not a lot, not as much as you'd expect. But it seems there's not much being given out, if you know what I mean, about what's going on.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I've been watching that. I've just before you live, I was watching Sky News catch-up thing. They put another statement out that they've been out all night looking. They've got all these resources from Met, trying to look and what have you.
Yeah, it gets sicker. It gets sicker.
So, somebody's just said in chat there, they found the baby's body. Oh, fuck.
So look, he's put that.
WG902.
Stick it up if you want. Sparky, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Dizzy J as well. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. WG, they found the baby body. Okay.
Anybody else got any more updates on that?
Yeah, guys, keep on it. What about as well, Nicola Bully? Anything on that?
Well, I was just going to sort of lead into that because the amount of coverage that she got for weeks, and this baby, we've only had like 2 days coverage for this baby, and I think I'm not saying one should get more than other. I think it should be the same. You know what I mean? There's a 2-month-old baby missing. Let's fucking get out there. Let's be looking. But they've not given out as much details about this as what they did about Nicola Bully. They give us all their past history, medical history. But all we know about these 2 people is they got arrested for child negligence and child manslaughter. So they already knew the baby were dead at that particular point. They must have done manslaughter and they've arrested them for it. It weren't on suspicion. But there just doesn't seem to be a lot of information out there about it. Like the one with Nicola Bully. Fucking hell, some sick fuckers out there, Matt.
It is, but sometimes they're very quick to, find stuff out with certain other crimes, what go on with other people. And funny that, isn't it? You can always tell there's something going on when you think what you're playing out. Why, the bully thing with the pond and the police just acting like nothing happened and all that, like, just makes you wonder.
I still think there's a cover up with that.
I do. It makes you wonder, and
if this story with baby progresses, we're going to be finding out obviously a lot more. Yeah, I mean, somebody just said that they found the baby deceased. Now somebody's just said they've just checked the news and they're still searching. That's what I've just watched.
See what I mean?
Not 20 minutes before I came online.
This is what they do.
It's weird.
Very smart, aren't they? Not. It's just that they fool people too easily. Maybe it's not them. They're not smart, no, but neither are a lot of us as well.
Yeah, but we're smart enough to smell something bad when we fucking know it's bad, aren't we? Yeah.
So right, I've got it now. So Constant Martin, we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. So police says aristocrat and partner remain in custody. Right. So they've admitted the missing baby may have come to serious as the aristocrat and her sex offender partner remain in custody. So that's the latest that I can see. And then blah, 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 the story, the overview of it. They want to keep them in for 36 hours, continue to investigate the whereabouts and all that bullshit, same script. Every time with that kind of situation scenario. More than 200 officers and stewards from Premier League have joined the search. Brighton, hopes of Martin said this. So further arrested more than 200 cops on that. Bullshit. Crap. Yeah, speculation, blah, blah, blah. The story will carry on. Who knows what's really going on? But, it'll always sell. And I'm just looking at loads of stuff here. I'd love to bring it all up, but I'm hoping our cash will come on because, like I said earlier, not for the other night and last night, sorry, and that guy deserves a chance to speak about what he wants as well.
Definitely.
Everyone else does, and he didn't get a chance last night. And I feel a bit guilty about that as well. Matt Hancock as well, that stuck up, snobby little bastard, whether you like him or not, you know. So he's in denial about Chris Whitty's advice on Curone testing after damaging messages on WhatsApp. And it was all to do with COVID and tests what were going on in Curone's at the start of the pandemic. So he's denying what's been going on, even though they found out over 100,000 WhatsApp messages where he alleges rejected advice to give COVID tests to residents going into English care homes, things like that. There's another MP, distorted account. So there's just another, you know, story about corruption, lies, you know, denial, officials, authorities, MPs, all this fucking hell. I think it's about time more and more people started waking up, and a lot faster as well. I mean, is there any time for sleep these days? You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. And this is what we're getting told through mainstream. A lot of it's true because it's evident. Imagine what's going on elsewhere without these stories being brought up on platforms or whatever. Horrible, evil world, and yet there's so many good people in it.
I've just found a new press release about that little. It's been, or she's been found dead. That was a press release 2 hours ago.
Oh God, a bloody shame, you know.
So they have extended arrest 36 hours. Fucking hell.
Mark Kelly's in, guys. Say hello to Mark. Here he is.
Evening, Mark. How you doing?
How you doing, Mark? Good to see you. Come on if you like, of course, you know that anyway. Anyone else who's come in, really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. They made it on the news, WGOK. Yeah, horrible. Horrible. A few crimes stick in my head. I mentioned it the other night, Madeleine McCann, James Bulger. A bit close to my heart, them two are. Mainly because one story is the Madeleine McCann one is, you know, we know nothing. We know not, but we know there's something going on because we can feel it. We can tell, can't we? We can sense that. And then with the Bulger one, like for me, one of them's got away with it as well. Anonymity. And the same happened with Murray Bell, who was in the same place as Venables at Red Bank. Although apparently she's been clean since, you know, but Venables hasn't. So it just pisses me off as, he's I think he's still in prison. Child pornography and all that. So, but the other guy who was part of it, who I've heard a bit about and things like that, he's perching it up and got away with it. Basically got away with it. And so is the ones who got rid of Madeleine as well. Really annoying. So they want to make it big news and all that. And they've made it a mystery as well with Madeleine. And it's still selling like mad. And it's one of them, like Jack the Ripper. Maybe no one will ever find out. But even to this day, 100 and whatever years after that happened, books, movies, magazines, always talked about, just like, you know, and it'll never be solved. Never be solved. It'll always get you thinking and things like that. So you'll always be eager to go out and buy the next version of the latest developments of the story and things like that.
Good evening, Master Ron. I've just seen you in there, fella. Hope you're all good. Other house all good.
Ron, we can't stop it. That's why it's frustrating. You know what I mean? There are people out there who can, but they won't because they're involved. As we know, isn't it Prince Charles's? Slight tangent. Prince Charles's coronation coming up soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surely
BBC are broadcasting it, mate. And you know what? It's going to be live. And you know what? They're not going to charge anybody to watch it. How good of them is that?
Let's all rise. They're not going to charge us for watching some. Do you know what? People will be going, do you know what? That's bloody marvellous there. Oh, you see? Bloody marvellous they are. They're not going to charge us for that.
I mean, how are they not going to charge you? But you've already paid for your TV license if you do pay for it. How are they not going to charge you?
They're going to charge
what
you.
What they say is that they're not going to prosecute those people without a license for watching it live.
Biker, how much money are they going to make out of the memorabilia out of it? The cups, the badges,
they're going to make fucking
all that
worldwide coverage. They're going to make fucking billions.
I'll never forget when he married Diana and everything from teaspoons to fucking posters or whatever. It was everywhere, plastered everywhere with anything you could think of. Cups, everything. It was just plastered everywhere. Zoom. That's what's happening. As soon as them two kids were born, everyone concentrated on that. Then look what happened. Things like that. Millions, billions of money made out of just people making appearances and looking glam and wealthy and in control, but yet at the same time thick as fuck. I can't think of one of them who's got a fucking brain, to be honest with you. Sorry if you're a royalist, but I just still can't think about what they've actually done, really, apart from sit there and order people about and create an empire through slaughter and bloodshed and creating a world where, you know, there's going to be a lot of division, etc., conquer and almost Roman style in a way, but doing it with valor and dignity and so they say. No, I don't know what they've done apart from attract tourism, to be honest. Oh, and war and murder and creating division, etc. Yeah. Apart from that, they look good, don't they? You know.
Really?
I've never heard an intelligent thing come out of the mouths. I mean, like I said the other night, and I've said it a few times, like they read someone else's script. They get told what to say, what to do, maybe what to wear on that particular day when they're giving a speech or a conference. Wear that uniform, wear that dress, wear that suit, that colour of tie. They're just fucking like Muppets. Yeah, it's rather okay, or... Yeah. Anyway, it's all over now, isn't it? The empire's over, and all that. Not that I'm bothered about that. And the world is definitely different now. There's no Union Jack, not many Union Jacks flying about now, Union flags. Yeah. Have you not noticed?
Well, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to. There's plenty of local councils that won't let you fly a Union flag outside your house.
Look at how the culture has been shut down, right? And this might sound a bit daft, right? So here we are. We're born here. We've got the local pub and the club, the Labour Club, the Conservative Club, the Social Club, the Sports Club, and all that. They're all slowly and surely been shutting down, turned into whatever, an off license or whatever, the Tesco Express or whatever. I used to love Crown Green Bowling. A lot of pubs, stroke clubs, always had a green attached. People, it was a complete social thing all together. complete pleasure day stroke evening weekend out just by being among them people and having a game of bowls or whatever. And all them have disappeared now. Pubs getting shut down, churches. I'm not religious, but I'm just saying this is what's been going on. No matter what religion or church it is, shut down, closed down, turned into flats. Indian restaurant, Chinese restaurant, whatever. That's what's been happening. So it's accepted now, you know. But no one's thinking why is that happening, and yet they still carry on preaching. You know, it's very religious. It's stick to your religion, you know, and Catholicism's strong and Christianity's strong, and you know you've got your Muslim contingent in, which for me find the most peaceful religion on earth, really. And we've been given this conception that they're the terrorists. Now, whoa, see how easy it is for them. Muslims are very peaceful people, extremely peaceful, far more than what we are. And they turn it around and make it look the other way, make it look like it's the other way around. Sorry, and it's not. So yeah, it's all it's like a world. There's a new world culture developing, I think. So they can keep waving the. I'm sorry if you a patriotist and all that, but you're going to have to accept that it's virtually gone, and it's no longer that anymore. And I think we've had a good run anyway, and changes are always going to be permanent, as Neil Peart once written, and it's true, and it's accepting that. But what I hate is the way it's being taken the piss out of. The way it's being done, like they don't care about us, they care about what's coming in and what they're going to make out of it. It's going to be a better economy for them. Trying to change the world, like my town, they're trying to make it into a city, and it won't be. But they're going to attract all these people into it, and there's not many natives left here anymore, you know. It's just not like it were, and they've shut everything down, is what I'm saying. I know I'm going off a bit, but they've shut it all down, and you've got things that have taken over that or replaced that. And everywhere you go now, our corner shops off licenses are now Euro. This, you see shops with different flags outside of it, on the banner thing, on the signs. Euro this, Euro that, Euro this, Euro that. Yeah. I don't mind. It just feels like it's just a bit odd, where you start to feel like a minor person in the place you were born and brought up in a different fashion, a different way, lied to all the way through. All the way through. You know, bullets didn't work for us. Didn't work anywhere. War doesn't. It's another distraction. Pork Chop, how you doing? Burr Britain's in there as well, guys. Karma, how you doing as well? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Yes, Mitch told you going to swing your job. Don't want any shit in here, right? Tony's there, guys. Check Tony out. Good guy. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, horrible. Horrible being a kid, being involved with something, watching it disappear, listening to the excuses for it and the lies for it, and then, you know, actually seeing it happening now, like properly, real. Like I've been out today, I've said it before. Listen, this is no offence if anybody from from anyone who's watching, right, or anything like that. But you know, I've been on a bus today and travelled somewhere and come back, and you know, it felt a bit awkward because I couldn't. Everyone were talking, not everyone, but people were talking, and it were all in foreign language. It didn't. That doesn't really bother me. That bit. It's just what bothered me was the way I felt. Um, I felt like ignored, even though no one were talking to me, and very loud as well. And it was just, I just felt like I've said before, fine, but you know, please have some respect. And you know, because when I lived in Germany, I learnt German, and I didn't go anywhere and said, "Hey, how you doing? Can I have that? How much?" You know, it was like, "Guten Abend, wie geht es dir?" Alles klar, ne? And yeah, and just simple conversations like that. It doesn't take long to learn. So I just feel disrespected and ignored, like in that kind of way. It's not a nice feeling, but yeah, a lot of people do. How are you? And you know,
But it's like if you're
basics, and that means they respect you, even basics. Good morning.
if you're talking to somebody in a shop or whatever, and obviously they're foreign and they'll speak to you in English and then they'll have a conversation in their language, and you think, to me, I think that's a little bit ignorant. In all honesty, you know, you're discussing whatever it is you're discussing, and then they're talking their own language. They're talking about you, pretending that
Yeah.
thinking that you don't understand them. But when
It's
my
funny
son
you
was in
should
Afghan,
mention that
he,
because
he learned he learned their language while I was serving, and he's
just
actually heard. He's when he's been in a scenario. He'll say to my dad, "What's your?" They'll start talking their own language. He said, "I'm going to talk back to him." And he's done it. He's actually done it. He spoke their language to him, and they look at him in fucking disbelief, like he's, "Oh fuck, what have we just sort of said?" type of thing.
I was just going to bring that up. I saw a video. I think it was a woman. I don't know what nationalities were going about, but they were passing, and apparently it were 2 or 3 people together, and they were like saying something about this person, and this person turned around and went and come back in their language and said something like, "Listen, I heard every word you said. Right? So who do you think you're talking? Who do you know what do you think you're playing at?" type of thing. And it was shock horror, you know.
Yeah,
And that just proves, as these people are that ignorant, as they think they can talk their own language in front of anybody, not knowing who that person is or what they're about, and they could know their language more than they do. And people don't think like that. But that turned out to be true. So
yeah,
maybe that's helped them now, from now on, to not do that anymore and take the piss out of someone because they believe no one understands what they're saying. Because
yeah,
someone one day will do. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they know. And it backfired on these people, and rightly so, as well. You don't go around doing that, just you know, speaking like that and trying to take the piss out of someone by thinking they don't understand what I'm saying because we're talking our own language and they speak a different language. But you know, there's a lot of people out there who've learnt a lot of different languages, and you know, it's almost become a trend as well today. You know, a lot of people are trying to learn Japanese, and you know, some people love the challenge of the difficult languages, if you like. I mean, Dutch for one. You know, that's a lot of people have said, "Oh, I've tried that one, but I just can't get to grips with it." Japanese, Chinese, all that. You know, English is very easy. German's very easy. French, they're a pain
I
in the
don't know.
ass. Not too bad.
They say English is the hardest language to learn.
It's not though, is it?
Well,
Grammatically, it is.
but yeah, that's why they say it's the
Grammatically,
hardest.
but
Yeah,
not word for word. But when it comes to grammar, yeah, we are a bit a lot like that, a bit more complexity to that than compared to other languages, grammar wise. Yeah, just yeah. I know. I go. It's just pissing me off more and more though every time I see it. I don't appreciate that ignorance because compared to other people who in the same scenario situation done the same thing, whatever, they've not been like that. They've been even if they can just muster a hello, good morning with a smile. That means they're trying. They appreciate being here. Thankfully, rather than some people who do it and end up taking the piss when they probably didn't need to do it at that point. And this massive baby boom as well, what's going on as well. So yeah, it's just horrible, really, watching something.
Baby boom's all down to lockdown, isn't it?
Yeah, that was part of it. It has accelerated since then, hasn't it?
Don't do it back room yet, mate.
Nah, nobody wants to come on here.
No, they can't do it. Put fucking link up.
Oh, is that why? I'll let you do that while I nip off for an emotional second or 10 or a minute. Guys, anyone who's coming, thanks very much indeed. Jersey Royal, good evening. Jason's channel as well. You can't find it. It's there now, mate. And Teflon's in. So thanks very much. See you in a minute. I'll leave you with Biker.
Cheers. Cheers, man. Hurry up then. Fuck for that. Shut up, man. Sorry, I'm just going through chat at the moment. I'm a bit fucking gutted about that little baby that's been found dead. Absolutely. Fucking vile bastards. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, what? Well, no, it's pointless even asking you because I know what your thoughts on that are going to be without even asking. Scott, this Matt Hancock thing, I've heard something, but I'm not quite sure what it's about. Some WhatsApp messages being released. What are they all about? Anybody want to come up and talk about that? Let's get an insight on that if you know about it. From what I heard on the news there, it was something to do with these companies that were awarded contracts during lockdown, etc. That's been leaked. I'm not sure if I'm right with that one. Come and correct me. Oh, somebody must want to come up. Have a chat. Kelly, how's that boat going anyway? Yeah, I noticed you're still doing your lives on your boat. Is it still mobile?
It's still afloat, mate.
Well, obviously, it's still afloat because he sits in the full. I know last time I think you're having engine problems with it, or whatever, or you were cheating, something like that.
Matt, nip on for a chat if you want and say hello. Can't believe there's no one backstage. This is so disappointing. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, yeah. Right. Master on. Doing Tony, Boris and all that. Okay. Some political talk going on there. Watching football, Dave. So you'd rather watch football than this live? Is that what you're saying? I thought this was more exciting than football. Pork chops as well. I've seen you in there. How you doing, my friend? What a great guy Pork Chop is.
How you doing, Paul? Yeah, you doing, fella?
A lovely man he is. He's Pork. Great conversationalist as well. And mate, of course, you're welcome on. You know that. John's there as well. Is Maria there as well? What's this one? Right, hang on. NASOG channels. What? Yeah, Tony. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh. Who's playing football? Because whoever is above me is shouting his head off. Has someone scored or he's a Man U fan above me, I know that. Are they playing? But anyway, I don't care about that. BBA, how you doing, mate? Come on, let's have a laugh. Right,
Patsy Kelly, how you doing, love? She's just bubbling.
How you doing? Good to see West Ham and
Man United.
Right. What's the score? Because he's been fucking going. He's been shouting his head off last minute. He's still at it. What's going on?
It must be over now. Surely.
Anyway, I wish he'd shut up. He's interrupting my life.
What a bastard.
I know. Right. Let me go up there with my camera. Let's get a fucking video out of him. No, I'm only joking. I won't do that.
Don't you just say to people, watch football when you're doing a live?
That would be funny.
Yeah, Man U 2-1 against West Ham.
Oh, so he's happy then?
Yeah.
Don't sound like that. Believe me, it doesn't. David's Cafe's in. How you doing, David's Cafe? Yeah, last night, you know what, guys? All you get, Connie Thunder. Total shock, surprise, and pleasure all at once. Fantastic. See, you never know what's going to happen on a live. And that, he stole the show last night, did Connie. And he came out with some stuff which he's probably not had the confidence to do so before. And he came on here and did it. And I can't get a bigger compliment than that from people. Because it's happened a lot, you know. And no one's been asked. It's all been off their own, you know, back. No, you need to come on and talk about it. No, it's like, if you want to come on and talk about it. And they do. And it's really nice, that is. It's really nice because most people who are in that chat join in and make everyone new who comes on very, very welcome and warm, and you let them settle in and things like that. And it makes me feel really proud. So thanks very much, people. Honestly, I mean it. Right, links there. This is on you. We haven't had this before. Have you all fallen out with me? What's wrong? Somebody get your ass on here. If not, it's just me and Biker. We're not bothered.
There's a couple of other lives going on, but
That's probably it.
Not many.
Mine's not as exciting as others. Don't it was fun for a while. Okay. It was a cracker last night, Paul. It really was, Paul. Thanks very much. I just hope he can nip on tonight for at least half an hour and just have a nap with us again. Amanda, yeah. Don't forget Amanda. Cheeky chops, yeah. And Chris. Can't have one without the other, but yeah, Amanda. She definitely wears the pants in that house. Chris, if you're listening, sort it out, mate. No, lovely. Fantastic. A new addition to this live. Everybody loves Amanda and Chris. It's brilliant when they're on. All fits in. Some great people on here. It was unexpected. Neil's there, look. Yeah, but you should know by now. Sometimes this happens.
I actually heard that then. I wonder if they scored again.
What's going on? Has something happened after the match or something? Because
No, it's still ongoing as far as I know.
fucking head up here.
Wait a minute. It's just updated score.
Unless he's got someone sat with him who's a West Ham United fan. And that,
No,
which
it's
I don't.
still 2-1.
Oh, I don't need this. Bloody football, huh?
It's not over there, Matt. Oh, that's why, yeah, Man United just scored another one, 3-1 now. That's what it was shouting about.
Can't score again. John, do you not like? You don't like Man United, do you, John?
Nobody does, other than Man
Who's your
United.
team? You would say that, being a Leeds United fan.
Yeah.
Hey, they've had their run though, haven't they? They had a bloody good run, didn't they? And then Man City came back up and they didn't like that in Manchester. At all, mate. I think we got John.
Yeah. Well, it's authenticated, mate. I'd still put your banner up.
John, just give me one of them, mate. And then do it the other way around. Thank you very much, sir. Right, I'm going to bring the lovely John on.
Hello, John.
Hello, Eddie. Hello, Dino.
How you doing? Oh, good to hear about yourself.
All right. Not too good after watching the football. But,
right.
Yeah, West Ham fan.
That's just the way it goes. You know, you had it last night.
Yeah,
Eddie.
We did, Matt.
It's my turn tonight.
Can't win them all, John. Can't win them all.
No. Well, I've never win them at all, really. But,
it's only a game, isn't it?
It's only a game. It's only a game. But I hate losing to them fuckers, man.
Yeah. Everybody does, mate.
Yeah, you know, Eddie, man.
You got your passion into something, you can't help it. Whether it's a game
That's
or not,
man.
it's your
It's in
passion.
my blood, man.
That's
It's in my
what's doing
blood,
it.
man.
Yeah.
It was handed down by my dad. And I've inflicted the same punishment on my boy as well. But
yeah, I tried with my lad, but he weren't having none. He chose rugby league.
well,
I mean, I like rugby league as well, but that's the road he went down. And you know, his son is into rugby league. He plays rugby, but
Yeah.
his daughter's into football.
yeah,
And her son is into football as well. So I've got best of both worlds, to be honest. It's sound.
yeah. I quite like rugby league.
It's good. It's very good.
It is a great game. It's better than the rugby union. I can't stand that shit. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what it is about rugby league, right? The last World Cup, which was last year, which was delayed because of the COVID thing. So they still called it Rugby League World Cup 2021.
2021
Yeah.
it was.
22, so they still call it that. But you had women's, you had the main, the men's and the women internationals and the wheelchair internationals. No other sport's done that in one tournament. Where you've
Okay.
got 3 different things going on. The
Yeah.
wheelchair lot, that is brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal, very brutal. These
Yeah.
guys, I tell you, I wouldn't like seeing without the wheelchair on a rugby field.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
absolute monsters. But
Yeah.
before and after the game, I'll tell you what, just a little bit like boxing, but there's hardly a grudge. They're all best mates. Buying each other a pint, best mates, keeping in touch and all that. Well, we're playing you tomorrow. Well, listen, you've had it, mate, so you can fuck off till Sunday, right? And
Yeah.
after that, it's just pure professionalism.
Yeah.
So for one of the toughest sports on earth, team sports, like that, to see a community it's a families, kids love it and all that. And it's so brutal. It's ironic compared to what happens off the field. With it being a community that way, you'd think, hang on a minute, these lot of beasts, they're not. The top athletes, men, and put the bodies on the line. And by the time they're bloody 40 or whatever, they're knackered. They'd work full time to do that. And, fantastic. I don't know, when you compare it to some other sports and you see them falling down, pulling the socks up, there's a bit of mud on the knees, and they're like, Mama.
Yeah. No,
I'm just off.
I totally agree with that one, Dean.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? And any of these ponces what run around like that, trying to look nice. Well, okay, they've got skill, sport. I'm not denying the skill and their intelligence playing the game and all that on the field. But just give them 10 minutes of playing rugby league.
They'd be fucked.
Let that would help them.
Yeah.
Would.
Well, football players used to be the English one, but it's a European one. It's all coming from Europe. The dark arts, beating and diving, and it's part of the.
It did, yeah, because when you remember back, John, I'm not sure how old you are, but when the English league were like, mostly, there weren't that much of a foreign influx and things like that. And a lot of them were local as well. So if it was Man City or Bolton Wanderers or whatever, half them guys were born and bred in that town.
Yeah.
So the mother of, it was bred here, and obviously it's spread. That's a good thing. And now it's a big business, but you get English clubs with a lot of foreign players in it, and foreign clubs with English players in it, and it's mixed up like that. Now you can play for an international team if your great grandmother's uncle's cousin has been in your family tree.
Yeah.
For me, that doesn't. That's for me. That's when it international. That's when it went. And I was dreading anyone from a different country being picked for England in the last Rugby League World Cup. Unfortunately, there was just
starting to creep in. It's the same with rugby union. I think the English team have poached players from.
John, when you see a name like I was just flicking through the other day. Six Nations is on and rugby union. I don't watch it, but I flicked through. I just clicked on it. It was Wales and England, I think.
Yeah.
The other day, so I'm looking at it. And I don't know who any of them players are, and I only had to look at the names on the team sheet, and there were a Fijian name or a Tongan name or something like that. Like from Wales.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
But it's just that little bit out of the sport. Somebody once said, "How come England football? They're so hyped up. Good, great players, top players, but they can't quite cut it as an international team. England, really, they've not really done much, and they got away with the World Cup fact when they won the World Cup. Really, they did get away with that. I thought.
No, they didn't. West Ham won the World Cup in 1966.
Up the hammers.
That's what it was. Yeah. Up the hammers, mate. You know what I mean? That's what it was.
They were all English, though. They were all.
They were.
Yeah, they deserve to win, but I still think they got away. But that don't matter. That's in the books. That's official. They won it, but we haven't. I think before that, but since that as well. I know we've come close a couple of times, but
we don't cheat enough. We don't cheat enough. We got to cheat a bit more. That's the only way.
But it's not the English way, John. It's not. I know. It's what do you call it? Gamesmanship, sportsmanship, shake of the old hand. It's not cricket if you cheat.
That's it.
Certainly not cricket.
I know.
Hey, anyway, but changes are going to happen, and I think they have even in one way it's even things up because you get domination from certain countries like Rugby League Australia compared to the rest. Now it's evened up a bit. Anybody could win these days, whereas in the past it was almost a foregone conclusion. But now they've evened it up that way, so it does make it better business for one, more excitement, and you're not going to turn up and watch a game and think how many we're going to get beat by today. It's like we could win any game these days because there's a mix of everything now from all over the place. So it's become more equal in that respect. But
it's a very northern sport, though, isn't it, Dino? Rugby league. It's
spreading now.
They had, when I was a kid, they had Fulham.
Yeah.
This was early 80s, I think. And they tried for a couple of years as a professional rugby league team. And I think it got quite big for a couple of years. But
they won the league in the first season. So they signed all these players who with experience who played for other clubs in the rugby league top division. And they were kind of almost at the end of the career.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, these guys are offering me. I may as well go and play for these guys. It's a novelty. It's a new thing. I'll go and play for them. They won it. Fulham. I can name a few players who played for top clubs back then, like Reggie Borden, who captained them, who played for Widnes, very successful club at that time.
Yep.
He was knocking on a bit. Joined Fulham, won a bloody trophy. Half of them who get to that point in the career, they go to a lesser club. We didn't know what Fulham were then. It weren't a lesser club. It was a new club.
Go
there just to keep playing, keep the career going, still get a wage out of it, and just love doing it. But they got these group anyway. Fulham, so very successful. I went watching them at Wigan, and there were quite a lot of people who came up from London to watch them. Still going, but they're called London Broncos.
Yeah.
And they play at Wimbledon.
They play at Wimbledon now, do they?
They're playing Wimbledon's new. Only for I think they started playing there last season.
Yeah.
And so play at Wimbledon's football ground. Now, so hopefully, and they tried so hard to get London going in rugby league, and you won't believe how much interest there is. You've got London scholars. You've got a London league. Okay, it's all amateur, but a lot of these guys who play in that league end up turning professional, whether it's for London Broncos or Wigan or St Helens or they end up. Lee McCarthy Scarsbrook, right, plays for St Helens. He's won every medal going. He's a brilliant, classy rugby league player. He'd piss all over Union. Far too
Yeah.
good for that. Playing league, born and bred in London.
Oh wow.
That never used to happen in Martin of Fire.
Yeah, I remember him.
Started off in rugby union. Wigan were thinking, he's just walking all over that game. Let's get him in here. Let's see what he's made out of. Anyway, he made it in rugby league. He made it a lot tougher, and he did it. And he was an ambassador for the sport. And it's led up to this point now where, yeah, John, you're right, a northern thing, M62 corridor, Pennine job, Cumbria, London came in. Now we've got Midlands teams, we've got Cornwall in it. You know what I mean? Wales love it, but with Wales, it's rugby union. It's always going to be, but they love rugby league as well. And it is spreading. The Women's World Cup this year, I couldn't believe it. Brazil.
Wow.
I was watching them, and just like the football in Brazil, Fleur, like just passing it about, not knowing what they're really doing, but just like very skillful with the ball.
Yeah.
Without the tactics, but eventually, 10, 20 years' time, Brazil, countries like that, it's growing, and it's growing a lot faster now through ambassadorial people like Claire Baldwin, who became president, Prince Harry, who's part of rugby league.
Yeah.
So people are waking up and noticing how good this thing is. They think from the business side, fair enough. Australia, it's their national sport. They're all TV stars. They go on talk shows. Everyone in Australia knows all these players.
Massive. It's massive in Australia. They're like superstars. You know what I mean?
I think that stereotype has finally gone now about the flat cap and the miners, the Yorkshire, the North, the Lancashire. No, it's worldwide now. It's only massive here yet in Australia, but where it's always been, up the north, but it's now growing elsewhere. Midlands Hurricanes, they played. I watched them against an amateur team. They destroyed them. Team from the Midlands, they're in Division 1.
Yeah.
All professional rugby league players.
Yeah.
So the word's spreading. People are thinking, what are you on about? Flat caps and whippets. This is bloody. Have you seen these guys go? How the hell has he just got up off the floor after that tackle?
Yeah, I know.
He's been round like that, whether it's accidental, and it's very rare you'll see dirty play in rugby league. It might look dirty, but it can be accidental head tackle, or you do get your dirty players, and it's like you're off.
Yeah,
and they get up like that. They'll get up if they're able to straight away. If they can't, it's genuine. It's not all this bloody acting, swinging about. If you were that hurt, you wouldn't be doing that. You'd be going, I'm that hurt, I can't move.
Yeah.
And you'll see rugby players do that. But they'll get up, they'll shake their head, they get a head injury assessment, and they're that careful. They'll say, I want to carry on. No, you're not carrying on yet. Get you on there, we'll assess you with the doctor, and then we'll let the referee know if you're fit to go back on and you coped and things like that. And they do look after them players because they put the bodies on the line and they get hurt.
Yeah.
How they get up off the floor sometimes after what's just happened to them is, I just think they don't act. They don't put any they don't milk a fucking penalty or anything like that. The referees in rugby league as well are spot on. Even football, rugby league were the pioneers of the video refereeing.
Yeah.
Using more referees, all that communication thing was on. They don't miss a trick. Very rare is a mistake made in rugby league by referees, and everyone's looked after. It's a fantastic sport, and it's very tough and skillful.
Yeah, I agree.
Great.
I never watched rugby union. I cannot stand it. But rugby league.
Did you get the ball and kick it?
Yeah.
Rugby league, it's all open play and looking, and the ball's in their hands. It's not like, I've got it. What do I do? I'll kick it back in their half, and they can bring it back to their half.
Yeah.
That's easy. I've played rugby union. I played both sports. And I can tell you which one's the toughest and the most skillful and fastest. You know.
I remember about 20 years ago they had, I think Wigan played a rugby union side, and I think on the rugby union game, I played one rugby union rules and one league rules.
That's right, Bath.
Yeah, and Bath were the top of their game then, I think.
That's
And
right.
they did well. The rugby league guys at the they did lose, I think, in the end in the rugby union rules.
They did, but we scored a try, and they couldn't score a try at rugby league, but we scored a try at rugby union.
Yeah.
But there were one outstanding player for Bath, and he ended up joining rugby league. There were a few good rugby union players who made it in rugby league, and they were bloody good as well. Wasted in union. They made it in league, and they never looked back. Jonathan Davis.
Yes.
Martin Afaya, Alan Tate, Scottish, Mike Catt, who played for Bath that night against Wigan. He put his heart and soul into it. I thought he will definitely make a rugby league player. He doesn't just go in with a tackle like that, pussyfooting. He goes in with a tackle like rugby league players do. It's a big difference. Watch the difference. I'm saying that to everyone, but I mean, all sport is fantastic for people, depending on your taste, you know. I think it's a great relax for people. They enjoy it. It's something we can talk about a lot as well. And there's passion, there's everything. At sport is fantastic. It helps us. Even if you're on the terraces, you've had a shit week, and it sounds daft, but you stood there and you get it all out, and it's like, back off, rep, you're a wanker, and get him off, and all that. And it helps you. Because you go home, if you win, it feels great. Yeah. You know, you've relieved all that stress because you've been at a sports event and you've been able to just shout out what you want. And the guys at the side of you doing the same thing. There's loads of noise going on and the atmosphere. And it kind of helps you get things off you. So I felt when I were watching rugby games.
Well, it used to be after the war, there was massive crowds for football and rugby, weren't there? And that was the only thing to do. You know, at the weekend, especially, you know, if you're working in a factory or something like that, you know what I mean? So a lot of people used to do.
It got them talking all week as well, John. Yeah. Like, it's like, are you looking forward to the match on Saturday? Like, yeah, have you got your ticket yet? And it's like, so you're excited about it, you're looking forward to it. And it's win, lose, or draw. By the end of it all, you will sit back at some moment and think, I enjoyed that match, you know what I mean? I'm gutted we lost, but you know, I enjoyed myself that day, you know what I mean? I've not seen him for ages. He ended up at seat beside me and things like that. You're always talking about sport and looking forward to it, and then after the event, still talking about it and looking forward to the next match and things like that. So it is a massive part of our lives, and it does help. It helps people.
So well, I went to West Ham Leeds last year. I'm West Ham supporter, obviously. Leeds, man, they're proper loud fuckers. They are, man. Loud, mate. And I was right next to the away fans, and we lost 3-2 as well. And the stick, we're giving each other stick. You know what I mean? All fair play, but man, they're fucking loud cunts, man.
Hey, come on, John. West Ham. Nah, very quiet lot, you lot, aren't you? I'll tell you what I love as well, what I've seen at football, rugby, any sport. Like, I'll never forget when I went to Wembley and watched the rugby final, and it was Hull and Wigan.
Yeah.
I've never seen as much. They would honestly, I saw they're all in the colours, you know, whatever top skirt, whatever they were wearing, colours out, getting drunk, all mixed and all that. And I saw these people, they were like, when they link arms and start dancing around like a Scottish dance. And it like these fans together just doing all that, having a laugh. We're gonna beat you tomorrow. No fucking way. Do you think score for strike tomorrow? Like, getting into a conversation about it and things like that. It was so nice to see. I got emotional when I saw that because it was only the second time I went to Wembley.
They're definitely different, rugby fans and football fans.
Oh, no, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Fantastic. But it still happens in football. It's just that bloody. They're not football fans, are they? The ones who go out there just to organise a fight, and they even do it before a match.
Well, they're trying to go back to the 70s with all that, mate. Every team had their own firm and what have you, and they used to travel around.
In a gang called the Casuals, and he told me he's still fucking organising shit.
Yeah. No, I don't think it happens as much anymore.
No, it's all. I think they do it away from the grounds, in smaller numbers. But I don't think you can be having fights in stadiums no more because it's all.
We're always near train stations, weren't it? Or where used to be.
Yeah.
They've cleaned it up now, haven't they? Because now this section. The very all these new stadiums, they've got it all set out where you can't really mingle that much.
It's segregated it really is.
Segregated. That's the word. Yeah.
I mean, I remember as a kid going, probably mid-70s up to 80s. It used to cost me £10 to get into a Leeds game. As a kid, you used to go into what they had there at Ellen Road. It was called Boys Pen. It used to cost you £10 to get into there, and you used to go with £1, and you could get meat and tater pie and a cup of oxtail soup as well. So that was your game sorted. I mean, you go there now. I think cheapest ticket is about £35, and you're still behind a fucking girder for that. But I don't know what the nearest price is. I know season tickets are about £550 up to, depending where you go. I think that's minimum price. But it's extortionate now what you've got to pay. I mean, I watch motorcycle racing. I have done for years. And this year, I'm not paying a subscription to watch MotoGP because they want €199 off me to watch it this year. And I felt, fuck right off. I'm not paying that.
Is that for Sky, Eddie? Is it? Or...
No. That's for actually the MotoGP. BT Sport cover it. Which I've got access to, but I don't. But that's another story. So I've just cancelled my subscription, and there's no way am I paying €199. None at all. I mean, you do get a lot with it. I mean, you can watch all warm-ups, you can watch practice, you can watch everything that goes on before a race, and it's all good. But I'm just not paying that money. No way.
You just want to go and see the game, don't you? And just get through the gate. And...
Yeah. I must admit, when I take my boy, we go and watch West Ham. I ain't got a season ticket, but I iron out £200 a game taking my boy. Time we get there, I can't. Yeah. Every time, easy.
What's the price of a ticket there then?
Well, because I'm an adult, you're talking £60, £70. I like being next to the away fans just to give them abuse. My boy, he's 17, but they don't do under 18 tickets. They do under 16, but after that, you're classed as an adult.
That's right.
So I'm paying for two adults. It's go and have something to eat, a couple of burgers and all that. That's £30. Tube over there, get the tube and trains £30. But, and we're not living the high life. Maybe have a beer at half time, but even that's like, well,
it's about £5.
You won't get much change out of £20 with a beer at a game, will you?
No. It's a lot of money, man. It's
Yeah. And don't forget the apart from the game, the shirts and the away top, and they never used to have that.
Oh,
You know, programs, all kinds of souvenirs, which is fine. You know, souvenirs, that's fine. But you know, how much is it now to buy a replica kit for
£100.
Yeah,
100 quid. So your kid
at
wants
least.
one as well in kid's size. So that's going to be less than 100 quid, I reckon. So maybe 50 quid for a kid, and your kids want one, and then they want a program and a pie and a pint.
Yeah.
And like they're travelling to and from. It all adds up, and that's just one day, one match. How many matches in a season? You know, if you're a loyal fan, well, if you can afford it, fair enough. But you get them ones who make sure they want to make it happen, and they scrape through just because they love the sport. And
Yeah.
I mean, for what you pay for to go watch a football game, and like you said, you know, everything that's involved, travelling, blah blah. You could hire a caravan for the weekend for family and go away for the weekend.
Yeah. Well, I've started going to watch a local club near me. It's like semi-professional. They're like right at the bottom of the professional tier. I think it's like level 11 or something, or level 9.
I don't know if it's happened in football. I reckon it has. But what rugby league does is, on certain occasions or matches or whatever, they will say, kids come free. Now, that's a lot of revenue lost because a lot of kids go and it's paid for. I think for kids, rugby match today, it could be something like a tenner on full whack.
Yeah.
But the odd time, it's like kids go free. And for me, that's the best way to promote anything. Or you know, get the kids in there. Luke, you know what I mean? And that's what rugby league does. Even in international games, kids go free.
Grandson's football team, because it's grassroots and they're in a proper league and everything else. And by the way, the top of their Premier League, so I know. But they get free tickets from Leeds United. You know, they'll give them X amount of tickets for club. So the club that they pay, they've got different age groups playing. You know, you're under 5s, 6s, and so on and so on. And they'll dish out X amount of tickets to club, and then they dish them out to parents of different age groups and what have you. So there's many a time we drop on for a free ticket and it's brilliant. But the kids do get in for nothing when that happens. Yeah. But you'll get the adult ticket and you can take one child with you. And that's how it works. And it's really good that they do that. But they did stop it a few years back because what a lot of these grassroots clubs were doing, pretty sort of unscrupulous, if you like. They were getting a couple of 100 tickets to dish out to all age groups. And they were dishing out, say they got to 100, they were dishing out 100. And, you know, this one guy that were doing the dishing them out, he was selling them online. And he got found out. Yeah, he was selling them online. He got found out, so they knocked it on head for all grassroots football clubs.
Yeah.
It spoilt it for all, but they brought it back in again now. I don't know what precautions they've got where that can't happen.
You can't. For me, you can't lose. If you let kids in for free at any event, you're going to get
promotion, isn't
it? They're going to come back and they'll say, "Oh, Dad, next match, are we going? Yeah, but it's not free this time, son. Yeah, but I don't care, Dad. I'll pay for it yourself."
Yeah.
To get people in that mind frame, you know, it's making things grow.
It's all about promoting the club, and that's
what you see a kid at a match at one time. Yeah, you see a woman or a child at a match at one time.
Yeah, maybe daughter's boss. He has a box at Ellen Road, and he hires that out every weekend or every game when they're playing at home. And she says, "Dad, do you want to come into the box and we'll go watch the game?" I went, "Well, no, I'd rather be out in terraces. I don't want to be sat in a nice, warm, comfy box. There's no atmosphere." But it's there, and because her boss pays for it and he gives it out to his employees for now, you know, take it up.
Yeah.
Get down there,
isn't it? Because you get. Sorry, John. I'm going to nip off from it, but you get a meal and all that, don't you? And,
oh, you get all sorts with it, mate. It's really, you're really well looked after. Yeah, it don't cost you all your treats
behind a window and that. So it's
I've only done it. I've only done it once, and it was an experience. It was nice. Free drinks, free food. You watch it game. You're nice and warm. It's pissing cold outside, and what have you. So there is that benefit to it, but you haven't got the same kind of atmosphere because it's very sort of, the sound is subdued in a box unless you open windows to get that atmosphere coming in.
Yeah.
There's only a few of you there, and it's like if you stood between thousands of people or whatever, you can feel the electricity's flowing. Basically, and if you sat in a room, you can hear the atmosphere, but you can't feel it.
Can't feel it. No, it's a totally different experience, mate.
2 minutes, guys. Thanks so much, John.
That's all right.
Biker always. So Claire's in, Spike is in, Tony's still there. Look, Roger Waters' comment there about that. I think we're used to Tony by now, but it's all good. Anyone else new who's coming, thanks very much indeed. A few people have said goodbye as well. Honestly, guys, I really respect you for coming in. Thanks for all your superb comments and your respect to everyone. Much appreciated. Right, see you in a minute. The link's there if anyone wants to come and join. James Patrick's there as well. So, honestly, guys, thanks so much indeed. I'll see you in a minute. Yeah.
All right. Have you got another device running in the background, John?
I'm eating a packet of crisps and I've got something charging me iPad.
I can hear an echo. Have you got YouTube running on that while it's charging by any chance?
I think I might have. I don't know.
I can hear myself talking.
Shall I jump off and come back in?
No. If you've got your other device that's open on YouTube, just mute the YouTube. You can leave it open, but just mute the YouTube and leave the StreamYard open. Yeah,
I'll just turn it off and hopefully it'll go away. People complained before.
Don't worry about it.
I turned it off. So,
right.
Is that any better? I was eating a packet of crisps as well.
No, I couldn't hear you eating crisps, mate. No, I can still hear it in background somewhat. Nah, it's not so bad. Forget about it, mate.
I'll jump off and come back on because I think it's StreamYard. I think after about an hour, it started. I've had it before.
Let me see if I can alter.
Let me jump off.
Wait a minute, mate. Let me just try something.
All right, go on. Because there's nothing on or near.
Right.
I've turned it off.
Right, I think I might have sorted it. Yeah, I've sorted it for you. Don't worry.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just turned echo cancellation on for you. That's all.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
No worries. No, I mean this year, like I said, with motorbike racing, it has pissed me off. I mean, World Superbikes, I followed for years. I still do. I never used to follow GP, but I got right into GP probably 15 years ago, something like that. And I watched it ever since. I've never been to a GP race, but I used to go to World Superbike races. Used to follow that all as far as I could go. And it was cheaper for World Superbikes, to travel, to go watch them. And it would always broadcast on Sky. But with GP, it would never broadcast on Sky. It was on BT Sports, so it still is.
Yeah.
But the GP has its own broadcasting service.
Yeah.
And that's what you pay for. But like I said, I mean, €199, it's a lot of, I'm just no way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's some people would say that's cheap nowadays. You know.
Well, they used to do it where you could pay it monthly over a year, which it weren't so bad because you didn't really miss that. But when I want a lump sum up front to watch it,
I know it's a bit of a stinger.
it's a different thing.
Yeah.
So there's no way am I paying that this year. I've got means to watch it another way. So let's just say it's saving me €199.
Yeah. Well, I watch the football for nothing all year round. You know, there's some tremendous websites out there. Just got to find them.
Yeah, there is means and ways, mate.
Yeah, but we used to get all this shit for free.
We did.
I'm 54 now. I'm 54, and everything used to be free on TV, didn't it? You know. And now,
Well, there's certain like tournaments, FA Cup that's broadcast on BBC ITV, World Cup that's broadcast on those channels. But it's your Premier League, it's your Sky that's got all that.
Yeah.
Amazon's got a part of that. Amazon will have it all eventually.
Yeah.
Sky won't be broadcasting any Premiership games. So I mean, it's going to go down, and it's going to be Amazon that's going to get it. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can watch them on there. But when they take it off Sky, which they will do, which is what they're playing for, your Amazon Prime is going to go skywards, absolutely skywards.
Yeah. It's that old saying, "Big fuck small." You know what I mean?
That's exactly it, mate.
You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do about it. Then that's what's happened in the everything in the world lately. Big companies are just fucking everything. You know, anything small, they're all over it. They're shutting them down. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you're right, John. And it's been happening over years, but these days it's so much in your face. It's a horrible feeling, really.
Yeah.
You could see it coming, and we could at our age. You know, I'm the same age as you, John. Well, we're all similar, and
be honest, I'm fucking oldest here.
We've seen how the differences have gone from that to what it is now, and even though they've done it subtly over the years, where we've not kind of thought about it that much. No, you can't get away from it. There's nothing you can do other than think about it. Because it's in your face now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well. All the jobs, they're all on for working class people. It's all the same, isn't it? You know, you're just going to get £10 to £15 an hour, if that. You know what I mean?
What's the new minimum wage now? I know it went up. Was it £9 something, and then it's gone up?
Not a clue, mate.
Yeah,
I don't think it's even that, Dino. I think it's even less than that. You know.
And then when you look at the cost of living, and I mean, luckily this winter, even though it's not been a harsh winter, I don't believe anywhere in this country. Yet these energy companies, you know, luckily, I mean, it has been cold, so you need your heating on. They've been putting money on your meter to get you through this last winter. I think they started in it could have been on.
Well, you get last one at the end of this month, don't you? That's it.
Yeah. So they give you about, is it October?
400 quid, or it was 600 quid.
Yeah.
I think it was 600 quid, wasn't it?
4 months. And I've always ended up and I don't use much at all. But, you know, when it gets cold, I don't think my heaters are that economic. But I can't believe, and it takes ages to get warm as well. and by the time it gets to a certain temperature where you feel comfortable enough to turn it off again, that takes quite a few hours, really, and you've used up a 3, 4, 5 quid
Yeah.
just to get warm or
Yeah.
feel comfortable on that temperature, rather than just sit there thinking, well, I'm going to write. And I've sat here before and, just bird it out till the day after and things like that. It's ridiculous. So without that, I'd have been well and truly screwed. And that's just because I want to put my eating on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all. And when that's not on, it ticks off very slowly. It's like, so that's amazing how that, compared to last year, like when I used to put it on last year, it's almost doubled in the price of that energy compared to last year. So why they're trying to help us out this year? It's not been a harsh winter. Right? If it's a harsh winter, fair enough, they should do it every time, but it's not. So maybe it's putting us in a false sense of or whatever, because next year they won't do it. God knows what next winter is going to be like. Things like that. Cost of living is going to go up even further. Is this just a softening up or whatever?
Do you know
and
what?
It's always gone on. Even before this, people, especially older people, shall we say, and a lot of them have ended up dying because of it. They're frozen to death. Because they can't afford to put the freaking heating on.
Wrong, isn't it?
Free energy, and you're being ripped off. And okay, so they've helped us out this time round, but look at what's been happening around the world last couple of years.
You're not going to get any more help when they go up in April.
Definitely part of it. Yeah, so enjoy this summer, guys, best you can, because next year, especially after all these changes,
Well, you wait now. I mean, all these people that will have struggled throughout the winter, even though it's not been as bad as what we expected. We've had a couple of cold weeks where it has been fucking cold, but nothing that we normally have. So we've been quite fortunate in that respect. But there's a lot of people out there that are still going to be in debt because of the price hikes, irrespective of the amount of money that they've been getting to help them.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to have all these people that are going to be in arrears, without a doubt. So now it's all going to come about. They're going to up the prices again. What are they going to do with these people that are already in arrears? They can't cut them off. They can't. It's not ethically right to cut them off. So what are they going to do? You're going to have millions that are going to take them out of the cart for it. It's not going to work, is it? It's not going to happen. What are they going to do? They're in debt with the electric for a reason, because they can't fucking afford it. They're on benefits, and that is it. I don't care what to spend the money on that they've got. If they've got kids and they're looking after them and they're making things work as best they can, then good luck. Fair play to them. If they're blowing it on fucking beer and drugs, then deserve all you fucking get, as far as I'm concerned. But those legitimate people that have got into debt because they just physically have got no income to pay the prices that are being asked of them. So what are they going to do with them? How are they going to get that money back? If they haven't got the money to pay it in the first place, how are they going to get it back?
Well,
take them to court and then take X amount out of the fucking, the benefits that they get, and then the prices go up again, and it's going to be a knock-on effect. It's going to keep happening and happening and happening.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of changes as well. So don't forget, a lot of people who've not been able to afford it and things like that, they've been cut off, and they've not been switched back on again until the next time they can afford it themselves to switch themselves back on. I think it is against the law for an energy company not to keep people switched on in some shape or form. But they do.
I don't know if it's. I'm not sure if it's against the law. I think there's some kind. I know they can't turn your water off. That's one thing that they can't do. Your gas, your electric. I think there might be some provisos there, depending on your circumstances. If you've got, like you've got disabled people living with you've got dependents that are at risk, if you like. And I think there's going to be some proviso put into place with that. But even so, with that, eventually they're still going to want the money. It doesn't matter who you are, they're still going to want that money. And how are they going to get that money if you haven't got it in the first place to pay?
Yeah,
because you've the
storm basically, and
you can't. No,
they'll still hamper you with things like that. So some people are in fear. I mean, I've had debts from, and Biker said to me one night, and I'm having a moan at him and things like that. And he's saying, "Stop reading about things like that." He said, "Luke, there's a 6-year thing going on. So any debt after 6 years, it gets written off." And things like that, but they put all this pressure on you and things like that.
But I mean, they can check the
energy companies and things
and
like
that. With certain debts, I mean, if you go back, I don't know how long ago now, these payday loan companies, right, people got into massive amounts of debt with that, and these payday companies were actually loving it. They were fucking raking it in. But they got shut down. The one major one, and I can't think of it one now. I can't think what they called it. They had to pay customers back. They had to write the debts off, and they had to pay customers back that they'd lent money to.
Was it the Halifax Building Society?
No,
they had to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's somebody else's that, but it seems paid. I can't think what they call it. It's sort of like Cash Pig or Cash Cow or something like that. I can't remember what they were called. It was something along that. Or Money Pig or anyway. Yeah, it was a big one, and they got put into liquidation, and they had to pay back. They had to write the debts off and pay back all the interest that they'd had to charge these customers. So they were laughing, basically. They got a free loan and they've been ripped off and they got the money back. I can't think of what, right?
Paul Yeoman, right? Yeah, so that's this year, right? And of course, every year profits, it's ridiculous, but this year more ridiculous, right? But yet they can still afford to pay every household that 60 quid or whatever it is for the month to get them through this winter. And yet they're making more profits than ever. So why are they doing that? So what's coming next year? I don't know.
But if the government is subsidizing,
it's strange.
If the government is subsidising the general public with this £600, right, for last X amount of months, right, and the fuel companies are making massive profits on top of that, the government has got to be taking some kind of cut from these companies, which is going to cover that anyway, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and if you think about it, right, when you're talking about free energy, all right, you've got to pay staff wages and you've got to harness this thing and pay for equipment, but when it gets passed down to the actual company who deal with the money and that side of things and customer service and things like that, I think they're on a quite a fairly decent wage and things like that. But it's all free. To them, it's free. They might get charged something by the government and they get taxed on and all that as a company and things like that. But when you've got something free, and all right, you'll get charged for it as a company from the government, things like that. But then when you start charging people for this free energy as a company, it can't be anything but profit, no matter what year it is or what day of the year it is.
Right, it's like you say, it's free energy. Like you got your gas, you got your oil. It's got to be processed so it can be used as energy. Like your oil, that's processed into so many different things. It's untrue. It's not just for fuel. You've got your gas.
You can't run out of. They can't run out of electric or gas or water. It's impossible to run out of that. It's a natural resource.
Yeah, but
it's a no lose.
It's got to, but the cost occur when it's got to be processed so it can be used. You can't use crude oil as it is. It's got to be processed so you can use it. Natural gas, yeah, it's natural gas. It's still got to be processed so it can be used. That's broken down into lots of different types of gases.
I understand
it's all
that.
cost, isn't it?
If you compare the cost of that compared to the cost of what people are paying for it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Do you know what I mean? So it is free, and you're going to get, you need to harness it type of thing and do all this. But, imagine it's not like you're going to run out of supply or anything like that. I mean, the cost of materials to run, sorry, Biker, the cost of what it would take to make these materials, to harness this stuff, to create these things is nothing. It can't be. It'd be anything. You're paying staff and you're paying for maintenance guys, just repair that, fix that wire. It's so easy. It's free energy. It's flowing all around. It's not like it's not like coal mining.
I think there's a lot more involved in processing crude oil and natural gas.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you've got an endless supply of something like electric, water, gas. Yeah, they've got to, you've got to create something to harness that to make sure it gets to every household and it's done properly with the plumbing and the piping and all that. So all that costs money, material and all that. But all that material cost is fuck all. They could probably make more money in half a day to cover that cost for all that equipment in half a day, and then carry on charging for the supply they give and what they charge people. So that work, they pay the staff.
I understand where you're coming from with that one. I mean, this time last year,
for them.
This time last year, I would pay £54 a month for my gas and electric combined. Now I'm paid £154, so it's tripled in less than 12 months. Right now, the process that they're using to make that usable has not changed with it last 8 or 9, 10 months. It's never changed, but yet we are being charged that amount of money. Why are we being charged that amount of money?
Well, that's the other thing, Biker, as well. Right, so they've got all this equipment to help us to, and harness it and all that is my word I'm using. But how long does this equipment last for? It lasts for you. They don't have to keep changing it every week or every month. It's like we paid for it. It's there. It's been cheap as fuck. We've got our money back in one day type of thing. And that will last for 10, 20 years.
Yeah, but like I said, if the process hasn't changed, it lasts 12 months when we're being charged £50 a month. Now we're being charged £150 a month. So what has changed? Why has it changed?
Well, one reason for me is the way, corporate business, you've got more amalgamation these days. These private businesses, they're just little outlets from, but the corporates, it's changed because they've become more distinguished. It's just a group of people, and all they're bothered about is making profit. So, and it makes these other businesses richer as well and things like that. So it's all about money.
Of course, it's all about money with all that.
It's not.
But if you've got a company that buys a barrel of oil that costs £50, right, and for them to process that barrel of oil, it costs them £100, right? So they've got to put that cost on the processing, right? So if it costs them £100 to process that, right, and then the prices go up, and they've got to buy a barrel of oil for £100, it's still costing them £100 to process that. But because they've had to pay more, then they've got to double the cost of the processing.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
And they get it out of us.
Yeah, so but all puts the price up initially. Why does the price go up initially? Today it's £50 a barrel, and tomorrow it's £100 a barrel. Why does the price go up?
I don't know.
It's based on
the stocks and shares thing. What goes on?
Based on consumption,
things like that. So
based on consumption.
Money people or corporates what are battling against each other, but at the same time, none of them lose any business. None of them lose any profits. They're just begging for the right deal, and then once they get that deal, whether it suits them or not, or they get less than them, they still have enough. And the ones the ones who they take it out on are us. We're the ones who suffer. They'll always be in profit with whatever deals they're making and buying into stocks and things like that and getting stuff back out of it. And all we're doing is just paying for bills. Things like that. They're just battling with each other, and money controls.
But do you not think the government has control over the prices that we are being charged?
Yeah, and they can use that to cut certain sections of society out where that it's not affordable for them, but it's affordable for these people who we're bringing in because we're helping them out from them.
Yeah,
I think it's part of that agenda as well, myself personally.
So that goes back to my initial question: that the government is controlling the prices that we have to pay, but the government is still giving us subsidies to help us pay for the price rise that they have sanctioned.
Yeah.
Right. So what is the government getting in return for that from these oil companies, gas companies?
Well, maybe not money. It may be sorting out, the new developments of the world changes what are going on. They don't need fucking money. They don't even use it. Other than a form of control to move things around or change certain areas of society.
Yeah, I mean, most of the EU, they've had price hikes in the fuel prices, but nothing like we have. Nothing at all. I mean, Switzerland is a very expensive country, but even them, they have not had the same price hikes that we've had. Don't matter whether it's been fuel or food or whatever.
Well, it's a different environment. John, sorry, mate.
We sold all our energy companies many years ago. It's all foreign owned.
Oh yeah.
France. What's the French company? I can't think of their name.
Mange 2.
Yeah. And I think we've got to pay for the last couple of years where people in power have gone mad and ripped the arse out of this country and ripped the arse out of the working class people.
I'd say it's more than a couple of years, mate. I think we'll go back to 80s with that one.
I was good. You've just John. I'll say one name: Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
Coal privatisation.
Yeah.
All that. That's when a lot of things. For me. That was the beginning when she were in power. The beginning of the end of British industry.
Yeah. Yeah, well, she wanted to get away from heavy industry, more into the financial and service industries.
She did, John, because I believe she was told to do that. So I won't go back on what I said by
Well,
saying all these
exactly.
people in power. Yeah, who's telling them to do that? Because it's not their fucking idea. It's not. Because they're always reading from a script and things like that, and they sound convincing. A lot of them are actors, don't forget, and they're experienced in that way. So for me, there is an higher power, okay? And I do believe there is a one world government, if you like, or order. And I think eventually that will be revealed as that's what it is, or that's what it has become.
Well,
but I think
if you go back and look at
a long time ago,
you go back and look at the mining
eventually it's
industry.
going to reveal it officially, I think.
Well, the mining industry, they closed that down, or she closed it down, because it was cheaper to import from the EU, especially Poland. Right, it was cheaper to import the coal to run the power stations than it was for the UK to produce it. So
correct.
It's a no-brainer that you're going to go for the cheapest, and that is it, which anybody would do. So you can see that, but the knock-on effects that has in that industry is absolutely catastrophic. And it would same with steel industry, same with chemical industry.
Yeah.
And it's a knock-on effect, and it goes all the way down. And those industries that have been decimated, the people that they supplied, they had to then go to the EU and elsewhere to buy that product that they needed to make their own stuff, whatever it may have been. And it was cheaper to do that, and that's why they got shut down.
So, doing that, even though they can still make enough profit on anything, what happened there was that, for me, that's where we lost, the unions, the guys who really stuck up for working conditions, things like that. It was all British stuff. We gave it to the world, steel, coal, everything like that. All these guys went out to work. You had families, communities falling out with each other, picketers, scabs, all that. People really going against each other, all because of someone else's decision. Fair enough, you couldn't get out of it. They're in power. But for these politicians who brag about being British and the British industry, and we've done this and we give you that to the world and things like that. But I'll tell you what, fuck all that now. Fuck your job. Thanks for all your hard work, by the way. Thanks for all you guys who died down the mines and all that in the war and things like that. Times have changed. We're moving on now. It's more about money rather than morals and or culture and things like that. So fuck that. We've had enough of that now, and nobody really cares anymore, type of thing. So, and they're all out for themselves, as we know.
Polly Owens just put a comment.
I hate it when they preach, when they do that, and people go, yes, okay, I get what you mean there. Yeah, it's saving us money. But what about these guys who put the life, the family generations into that trade, etc., and built half the bloody world with it, passed it on. Maybe other countries have improved on what we've done, which is bloody fair game. I think improvement's always good. But, the engineers of the world, whether it's steel, coal, whatever else we've done, ships, trains, you bloody name it, sports, all that. Now look, so it proves they don't give a shit, because you can't preach British, you can't preach that and at the same time say, look, we're going to end it now because it'd be cheaper for us and better for you if we got it from elsewhere. What about these guys who were out of a job? What about these guys whose generations in past have worked their arse off, and you've kept it within them generations, carried on with the same job, trade, done us proud, worked your asses off. Some of you have died and things like that, lest we forget. Little plaque ends up outside somewhere, what once used to be a colliery or whatever.
I like I said, I used to work in chemical. I worked in chemical industry for 20 years. When that went down, I had to learn another trade. I worked on my own. A lot of other people had to learn another trade, I mean, a lot of my mates, they went in. Some were miners, and they went into welding, and they learnt their trade in welding, and they were fucking really good at it, right?
Yeah.
But even the welding industry, it's all part of construction and everything else. That had been decimated as well, because of the steel. I used to be told, all the British steel that used to come from Sheffield that they used to weld, they used to make buses or tanks or whatever, right, out of British steel. And then they start getting the imported steel that says they couldn't weld it as good as what they could with the British steel because it were inferior shit.
Yeah.
They just couldn't weld it.
Yeah.
Craftsmanship, well, it's everywhere, but over here, craftsmanship from masonry to, steel work, whatever, and made stuff and things like that. Look at it now; it's still standing. That's why when I do these buildings and I look and I just think, that guy who made that mold there, that guy who did that brickwork there. Yeah. I look at this modern shit and I think, hang on a minute, I could do a better job than that. But there's no way I could go anywhere near these guys who did it proper in them days with hammer and chisel, rather than, prefabricated stuff, and all they have to do is like stick it on and screw things in and make it look good, and it fades away very soon, doesn't it? But these proper made buildings with handmade craftsmanship and passion and loyalty to what's going on in that industry, things like that has lasted. That has still lasted, but no look, they don't occur anymore. They're knocking them down. They're not keeping them alive and at least using it for some other purpose, like for whatever purpose, There could be many different types of things that those buildings could be used for. But no, they'd rather knock them down and build a bunch of fucking apartments on there, which start going rotted and, full of algae and shit like that, and they look horrible anyway, instead of using that well-made building, which would still, if you let it still stand, would still last another 100 years longer than that new piece of shit that you put up with cardboard walls. It's ridiculous. And it's part of losing heritage as well, and all that history and things like that. Look at it. Look how well. But just imagine them guys who built this place. Put every piece of their heart and soul into every brick.
I mean, if you look at industry now, no matter what it is,
turning in the graves right now.
The only industry that we've got right now that is a surefire industry that is always going to work, right? You're never going to get shut down or whatever if you run that industry correctly. Is undertakers. That's the only industry that is ever going to thrive.
And weapons.
Well,
weapons, vets.
But if you think about it, the undertakers, they're never ever going to be out of work. Never.
No.
They must be in boom time at the moment.
Well,
yeah.
My ex-mother-in-law died during COVID, and when you go to work, I was talking to Undertaker afterwards and what have you, and I was saying to him, what has it been like for you during COVID? Did you notice an increase and all this sort of shit? He went, not really. He says it were no different than normal. Pretty much each week were the same. There were no massive increase in deaths or whatever. He said, and we just dealt with everything as we normally deal with, That's it. Yeah. But there were no major increase.
It's a great point.
You might. He says on average you probably. I mean, he's a local undertaker in the village, and he says you probably deal with 10 deaths a week, but that's from neighbouring sort of villages, towns, or what have you. He says you probably deal with about 10 a week. He says, but it never changed during COVID. It did increase, Yeah, because I would expecting him to say, yeah, we got our cold storage, it were fucking overflowing, blah, blah, blah. And he went, no, it were nothing like that. It just never changed.
Yeah.
He says, we're always busy. He says, it's an awful thing to say that we're always busy.
We'd see it if it did. I mean, it's weird. And I did say it earlier when Fluke come on and all that, when we talk like that. But if you think about it, if someone calls something a pandemic, you would expect to see a lot of changes going on. The only change we saw were like these lockdowns and queuing up at supermarkets and shelves being half empty and rationed, and things like that. Arrows on the floor, new signs, 2 meters apart, sanitization points, all that shit, and things like that. So apart from that, that was the belief. That's, oh God, yes, we need to do that and wear the mask and keep 2 meters apart, But then when you look around, it's like there's a pandemic going on and people are dropping off left, right, and centre, according to their figures, right? Forget worldwide. Let's take this country. I haven't got the figures right, but we know that it's a pandemic. Everyone was scared, and there was a lot of these death figures and things like that. How many funeral cars did you see? How many extra headstones did you see in the cemetery? Has anyone seen any difference? Because if there was a pandemic going on, you would see loads of shit happening all the time, everywhere, and things like that. But nothing has really changed that much, has it? You would definitely notice a difference in people who would die quicker than normal.
This mortician did say to me when I was talking to him, he just says during COVID, right, the cremation side of things went up rather than burials. And he didn't emphasise on that.
Right, we got Mark. Mark's coming on, guys.
Mark Kelly.
Mark Kelly.
Big.
Yeah. He likes his subject. Hey,
Mark. What's happening? What's happening, everyone?
Are you all right, fella?
Yeah, you good, yeah.
You're not on the boat tonight?
Sorry, mate?
You're not on the boat tonight, then, obviously.
No. The boat's only for weekends, Eddie. The weekend, the leisure life, you know what I mean?
You get the engine started on it?
Yeah, I've just got to put the fuel tank back, mate. What it is each time a mechanic come down, a different mechanic, they would say things like, there's no fuel. And I said, well, there is. I've just put like 10 litres in it. So it must be leaking. So I'd take that advice and go and get another 10 litres and so on. And that happened, I don't know. So now we're back to clean the tank. There's 80 litres of fuel in it. And they all told me it was empty. So great mechanics they were. Yeah. Anyway, you were talking about the government and the COVID things and all that, and there's lots of these WhatsApp messages that are coming out.
Right, I mentioned this earlier because I'm not actually up on it and what's been said, and I asked for somebody to come up if they knew a bit more about it. So,
I was watching a bit of George Galloway's stream, which I watch quite a lot because he's quite on the ball on certain things. I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but on this one I do, and a few others I do. But he said these are the figures that they're quoting. If you was over 80, basically you had a 6 in a 100 chance of perishing if you caught COVID. Now, the text message or the WhatsApp they've been sending, if you were under 80 and you was fit and healthy, no underlying health condition, was negligible. Now, to say that word, I had to, when they said it and he quoted the word, what they were passing around, and this includes the Health Secretary, the Prime Minister, Chris Whitty. And I thought, well, let me just make sure this word means what it means. And it means so small as to be not worth considering, insignificant. Yet they shut the whole country down over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kids missed schooling for 2 years, including mine.
Yeah.
And they missed their friends for 2 years. And they were sending me stuff like, why don't you take your kids squirrel feeding and stuff like that, which I was doing all that. I don't need them to tell me what to do. But I just thought to myself, so if this is true and they knew all this, negligible, so small as to be not worth considering. That's what the Oxford Dictionary of the word means, insignificant. It's just, and then they were saying things like the rule of 4, the rule of 6. No, nothing. There was no studies even thought about that. There was just things they were thinking. And then you got the opposition actually pushing for more draconian measures without any scientific data behind any of it. The masks were useless, it's saying on these WhatsApps as well. So it's just madness. So fair play to everyone who questioned it. Fair play to everyone who actually thought about it and thought, hang on a minute, this don't seem right. So big up to all them people what done that, because it seems to be slowly coming out that it was all a load of bollocks, to put it bluntly.
Well, I always said, I worked in chemical industry and the PPE we had to wear and everything else, and then they come out with these masks and it's supposed to stop this, that, and all, a load of bollocks. I questioned that from day one. I never once wore one. Never, because someone stopped jack shit.
It's just madness, mate, when you actually look back at it, what they, it messed a lot of people up, and it really did. And kids, especially kids, young kids playing football with their friends and hockey or whatever they do. For 2 years, that wasn't allowed. They never got the chance. And you can't give them that 2 years back. That's gone now. Do you know what I mean? It's and then they said the Jibby jab. What was it? He's quoting that it didn't really do what it says on the tin. Oversold stuff. A bit like that drink. What's his name sells? What's that boxer guy who was fighting the weekend, John? What's his name?
Oh, what? Jake Paul or whatever his name.
Jake Paul. What's the drink he sells at $10.99 a bottle? Prime, and it's just a soft drink. This is what what I mean. Talk about oversold. It's just madness, mate. It's madness how people just went along with it. I tried to explain that to a guy not so long ago, and he was just, well, what about all the extra deaths and all that? And I said, well,
there weren't.
Was there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just madness, mate.
Yeah. That's what I originally come up to say about Matt Hancock and all the lies. It's all going to come out,
Well, it is. It is, John.
Yeah. All the money that was, the billions of pounds that were wasted on the track and trace. There's £40 billion was wasted on that.
How much? I thought it was a couple of billion.
No, I'm sure it's 40 billion. I'm sure it was.
Wow.
I'm sure, and maybe I'm wrong.
It couldn't have been. That's too much, John. It couldn't have been 40 billion. It couldn't have been.
Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me, Mark, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
These days, that it's
kind maybe I heard it wrong, but
I'm sure. I think maybe 4 billion, maybe, or 40.
Well, 1 billion, that's bad enough, isn't it? Bloody 1,000.
Yeah, definitely,
yeah.
Fucking hell, ridiculous. Takes me back to that in the hospital, and I refused, and I got argued. I made a complaint, and who do you think you are? I don't have to sign that. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yeah. Turned around to my dad in his sick bed and said, oh, right, he's not signed it. So when you go home, if you catch COVID, you know who to blame. And looked at me like that, and I thought, I'm not being funny. And I'm not. It's just okay. Worked hard, come in, studied, learned, passed the test, became a nurse or whatever. Come in. Who the hell are you? I can't even tell half of what you're saying, for one. I'm not saying you've not worked hard enough to get this job. But don't try and come heavy on me, love, and things like that, telling me I have to do something when I know I don't. You obviously don't know that I know that I don't. So who the hell do you think you are? And I don't care what position they're in. You know what I mean? And I made a complaint, and the woman I complained to, I said, check it out. I said, just check that law out. Check it out. I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, okay, no worries, sir. Blah blah blah. What's her name and all that? So I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. Just be aware of it. And in fact, my advice to you would be give your staff, it'll take you half an hour at the most, one training session, just one, get them all together in that training room, like you must do constantly, you have to do. Keep everyone updated on everything, keep them trained up, and just explain to these people that that's the case on that. So if someone comes in and you ask them to sign that, and if they refuse, you have to accept that because they don't bloody have to. But some of these people think you do in them positions as well. It's really disappointing, and you know, not native as well. You know, and how do you sound not racist today? You don't say anything, but I'm saying it because it's fucking true. I were there. I witnessed it. I heard it. I saw it. I felt it. I complained. It was complied with the person I complained to who was above her.
Yeah.
Really annoying, frustrating. Who the hell do you think you are? Type of thing. And then doing that to me dad. Oh gosh, that I was fuming that day. I'll tell you.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Honestly, yeah. How dare you know? If you're gonna do something like that, and you need to know that you need to know the rules on it, type of thing. So if someone says no, I don't want to, and you're being adamant saying you have to, things like that, because I'm in this position, you're just a visitor to the hospital or whatever, I'm in charge and things like that. No, I hate that. No, you're not in charge. You're not in charge of nothing.
Yeah.
Apart from yourself. So don't try and be in charge of me, because one, you don't fucking know me for one, and things like that. You obviously don't know that I have the right to refuse, etc. And you're out of order for trying to make me feel guilty by looking at my dad who's sick because I've not signed something, and when he goes home, if he catches COVID, it's my fault.
Yeah.
Fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
And I got shit as well that day. Security and this senior nurse or whatever he were, doctor or whatever he were. What's your purpose? Do not. I said, hey, and all that. And I've got it. I had it on my phone and all that. I were ready. Read it up, and I'm thinking, and I said to this woman who I complained to, look, I'm not being professional. This NHS, and you don't even know that. So half an hour, please. You know, pay them for it. You know, that's all it'll take. Train them up, and then next time it won't piss people off when they're trying to exercise their rights, because they know about it. Why do your staff not know about that?
That
I was a bit of a cunt actually on that phone call. But
all that shit, the C shit, give all these pointless managers. They loved it, you know, putting up plastic fucking barriers and wearing masks and
power freakism, John.
Yeah.
You get on this power, like I'm in charge and all that. And do you know what? You're not. No, you're not.
Yeah. And them people are still about trying to, they're lost now because people have given it the middle finger up to them. You know what I mean?
They're just following.
How many shops do you still go in now that still have got the COVID signs up, that still try to enforce social distancing, that still try to enforce mask wearing, hand cleansing? It's all there. It's on every fucking thing. You've got
Still
labels.
legal,
You've still
yeah.
got the traffic light system on there.
Still
Why
legal.
are they
Well,
still
I've got to
trying
be
to?
honest, Eddie. No one's ever imposed it recently on any of the shops I go in.
No, they aren't with me, but you can still
Yeah.
see it's all
Oh
there.
yeah, the
It's still all
signage
in
is still
place.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still hanging about,
yeah,
and there's still
the
people
signage
wearing
is there to
masks.
cover themselves in case something, some idiot from the council turns up and says, "Why haven't you got your 2 meters?" Like anyone is doing that anymore. I mean, I've noticed on the London Underground now, which is I use quite a lot. There's hardly they're all still there. These big pump out where you can wash your hands with their super gel, what will stop anything spreading, according to Sadiq Khan. There's none of them actually got any in it no more. The odd one has, but not many. You know what I mean? So you attempting to get a little drop of that stuff out is actually, if there is anything out there, you're now going to get it on your hand, because probably another 50 hands or 100 hands have touched the top of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's tempting you into. It's just crazy how they went on. Like I said,
It is.
these WhatsApp messages are coming out now, and like I said, that word alone, negligible for anyone under 80.
Yeah,
Negligible, so small.
They would actually come out with that. Like, look, if you do that, they won't come out with that. So it's like a routine control system. So they'll not say, look, like Mark's just said, look, that could happen if you do that. Look, think about that part about it as well. No, they'll not tell you that, even though it's true what Mark's just said. My doctor won't let me in without a mask. He has to.
Yeah.
So he has
the masks to. That's coming out as well.
You've got the right to refuse to wear a mask and things like that. Still, some people wear masks today, but I had few and far between. All of a sudden, it seemed like overnight, when it all died down and all that, and all these death figures went up and all that kind of died down as they'd done the first part of the job by depopulating a certain area of society, mainly older people. Care homes are still being thrown up, things like that. The one in my town when I was a kid, one care home. Look at them now, big business. Why? Many more people are being made to die, I think. But yeah, you stand your ground, surf, because look it up, get it screenshotted on the government site and what it says, and just shove it in the face. No, I don't. Who are you to tell me? I'm refusing. That's my right to refuse. If you don't believe me, ask the fucking government. So don't let them do that. Don't let them try and overpower you because they're in a certain position. They don't even know what they're doing the fucking selves.
Yeah, when you look back to when they first announced everything else, everybody was shocked. Everybody didn't know what it was. Everybody was sort of complying to an extent because it was something new and it was major. We could see it happening around the world and it was scary. And anybody that didn't think that, then I don't know why, but it was a scary situation. But as the weeks and months went on, people realised that it wasn't what it was that they were telling us. But they still insisted with that, that sort of way of thinking and trying to put it across. All the rhetoric that they came out with were all bullshit, that we all must wear masks. If you can't wear a mask, you've got to wear a visor. I mean, what the fuck were them all about? You've got to wear a visor. Unbelievable. But people complied. I used to see these people walking around with a fucking face shield on. It's not going to stop you getting it. It's not going to stop you transmitting it. What the fuck are you wearing?
I used to work with a woman. I still work with her now, and she's for about 6 months to a year. She was walking around at work with that plastic. I used to take the piss out of her every day. You know what I mean? And I actually worked with a nurse who worked part-time doing the pricks. And she said, have you not had it yet? And I goes, I'm not having that shit. And it was all shock horror in the staff room, you know what I mean? I had a big row with them all. And I goes, you're all fucking mad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And
totally agree.
You know, I work in
Well,
the
look,
food industry, and it was like the hygiene had to be like even more, you know, uprated even more because we were dealing with food. But go on, Mark. Sorry, mate. Go on, mate.
well, you're lucky you didn't live in Italy, John, or you wouldn't have had a job, because their one was you either have it or you don't work. And if an employer employed you without having it, he would be liable for, I think it was about a £20,000 fine. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, I
did
always remember, I don't know why this made me laugh, but there was, I mean, it must have got so serious that there was a guy who went to get his jab in Italy, and he had a false rubber arm on. It was in the paper. Yeah. So he had his arm tucked behind on his coat and the false rubber arm, and he rolled the sleeve up, but the needle wouldn't go in.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they got him arrested. Yeah. It's just, when you look back on it, it's absolutely madness.
But did you see some of the footage where it showed you people going to these vaccine centres? There was some in this country, some in Europe, what have you, and they were lining up, sitting down, and they pulled the needle out, and they were jabbing them. Next one, next needle, jab. It was like a conveyor belt. But when they slowed it down, they wasn't actually putting the fluid into the arm. They were injecting, putting the needle in, but they weren't pushing the plunger. Right, so they put the needle in, pulled it out, next one, and they banged it in, and they were using the same syringe. And that happened in this country as well. Yeah.
Well, I saw the thingy centre at the top of my road when the new variant was supposedly coming out, and it was pissing down with rain, and as I walked past it, it was like they was queuing up to get in to see Chelsea Man United. It was just packed, and it was because the new variant was out. And he basically, Boris done his press conference, and he actually said that he doesn't even know if it would work against the new variant. Yet all these people rushed out like maniacs because they were told and conned, and you know, it was basically propelled into every part of society of that you must get this. The stuff, what, like I said, it was vastly over advertised, and it didn't seem to do what it done on the tin, not to go any further on that subject. But
if you go back early doors when it all come out, you know, within weeks they got a vaccine for this COVID. They've always had a vaccine for COVID. It's just that it was COVID-19, not the 18 or 17, whatever. But they've got this vaccine.
Yeah.
And it were there, and they're saying, right, this will stop you getting it. This will stop you transmitting it. And that were the criteria that they put out. Now, I always said then, and I'll say it again, I've said it before, right, I was not going to have the vaccine. But when our lass was diagnosed with cancer and she were on chemo, she had no immune system. That's when I had it. Because I was not bringing anything into this house that were going to get to her, right? Because we were told that is, it'll stop you getting it and stop you transmitting it. And that's when I had it. Yeah. And at the time, if she hadn't have been diagnosed, I would never have had it.
Yeah.
But I had two jobs. I were kind of coerced into it, if you like, or whatever. And I did it for the best reasons. But I was told that I wouldn't catch it and I wouldn't pass it on. And that's what we were told. And then it came out after, but no, it doesn't stop you catching it. And no, it doesn't stop you spreading it. It just stops you getting ill from it as bad as what you would do if you didn't have it. Well, I've had COVID since, and I've never been bad with it.
I'll tell you what, I had it in December 19 before everyone knew what it was about, and I had it again in I think 21, middle of the lesser variant, and I thought I feel all right. I was testing positive, and I went out on my bike, and I was going faster and flying up hills more quicker with the C thing than without. I was testing positive for about 5 days.
You told me, John. Yeah.
I've told you this
But-
before.
Yeah.
It's like people get. Sorry, Matt. Go on.
Good night. Go on, Ed. You go, mate.
I mean, it's like now. I mean, people are still testing now for COVID because they've got a common cold, they've got a bout of flu going on, and it's coming back as positive.
Yeah.
Why are they still tested? We all know that it's not as bad as what it were made out to be. So why are people still testing? There's people. I mean, son-in-law, he's tested positive for COVID. I says, why are you still testing? He said, because our company insists on it and they want proof that it is that you've got COVID. Because if you come to work with cold or a flu, they want to make sure it's not COVID and you don't pass it on to anybody. So I said, well, you can go to work with a cold or a flu that isn't COVID and you can pass that on then. I said, that's absolute bollocks. But that's their policy and that's what they do. And he's tested positive for COVID, so he can't go to work. And he says, I feel fine. He says, there's no up with me. He says, I've got a cough, a sniffle, that's it. He says, it don't bother me. He says, I'm going to watch football. He says, he's been to Welland Road. He says, there's no stopping me going anywhere with it, but I can't go into work. He says, so if they want to give me 2 weeks off because I've got COVID, then fine. He says, I'll take that. He says, the thing is, when they're off with COVID, they get full pay. If they're off with a cold, they don't get paid, or they get sick pay.
Well,
with all this, right? I'm going to nip off. Sorry, guys. It's just with all this, it just sounds very familiar to before it came out. I.e., people used to cry off with flu. I've got flu. Flu was a major excuse.
Flu were a massive killer
to get off work. Flu was also major because it was real to some people, and it was always flu. Flu suddenly disappeared when COVID came out.
Well, that's a fact.
Flu, a massive killer, one of the biggest killers on earth. Oh, hang on a minute. No, hang on. Forget that. COVID. What's COVID? No, it's COVID. All right. This is what it's. Okay, that's scary enough for me. Not for everyone, but you know what I mean. And then flu kind of disappeared. And I even used to hear about football, rugby matches, or other things like that. There's 4 people out today on the team because they've caught the flu. And that never used to add up to me either. That was like a bit weird. Like, hang on, they've caught the flu. Is it not like the coach saying, fuck off, you're not playing today? But the flu was always used as an excuse, as well as being real as well. But they don't say that anymore. What people say these days is, I've had COVID or I've got COVID. I don't hear people say I've got the flu anymore.
But you look, if you go back
maybe COVID and flu are the same thing, but COVID goes back over 100 years in the textbooks and things like that. Before it was put across in this way, in these modern times, it was always called the common cold.
Yeah.
Look it up. Check
but
it out, guys. See you in a minute.
If you go back to World Cup, right, in Qatar and everything else, you've got every man and his dog from different countries going into that country, right? You don't know what they've got, you don't know what they were carrying, anything else. And there were very little cases of COVID registered over there. Very little.
Yeah.
And that would have been a place where you'd expect it to rise, wouldn't you? For different people from different countries. But no, it didn't. You got teams that can't play players because they've got the flu. COVID were never ever mentioned in the World Cup. You didn't say, so and so's not playing because he's tested positive for COVID, blah blah blah. No, it got the flu. That's what they used. So what were different then? What were different? because it were Qatar, holding a World Cup, making billions of pounds out of it. And COVID never sort of raised its ugly head, if you like.
That's it. Yeah. Sure.
Well,
Absolute load of bollocks.
it was the behaviour of most of the MPs what was quite sickening. Like I said, with all these WhatsApps coming out, and then I think the inquiry is starting today. The COVID inquiry about how the money was spent, all that kind of stuff, and the Labour Party are absolutely, totally happy with that. But how can they be happy when they was actually trying to push more draconian measures than actually the other mob was? And when I look back at it, I only thought maybe there was a couple of MPs what was actually talking against a few things and making sense. I remember Desmond Swain, when the new wave came in and they were saying, like, it's terrifying the nation again now. 181 people in hospital with the new variant. And he simply got up and asked the question, well, how many actually went into the hospital for that? And the guy, I can't remember, it was Sahid Javid said, well, 0. So actually none went in hospital for the actual, what they were promoting. So he asked questions and not many others did. So that tells you what's going on up there. That there's no honest MPs no more. The MPs that we all know are sort of run by other people now. It's not actually their voices. But like I said, I respected him for asking that question. There wasn't many more like him, so big up to that guy, but not many more. So it's a shame, really, that they imposed all these restrictions on mankind over something like this, because it's done the economy in, it's done a lot of kids in. It's it just wasn't good, and
in all honesty, Matt, do you not think what they did to us is just a precursor of what they're going to do next?
Yeah.
It was a trial thing, and to see how it worked, see how the public reacted, see how they went with the vaccine, blah blah blah. They've got all that. They've got all that data now. That's a precursor for the next one. I mean, they tried it all.
The next one, that's strange. They come around every so many years. They're predicting the next one in a few years' time. So I believe.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're talking about the new avian flu that's going around. It's more stronger. It's more nastier than previous ones. I mean, I'm not even allowed to go out shooting anything now because of this, because of what they're carrying or what they may be carrying. But it's going to be a pandemic, is this avian flu.
Yeah. Is this why we're not getting eggs on the supermarket shelves, Eddie?
Possibly because the hens, they're not allowed to, if they're free range, they're not allowed to roam anywhere. They've got to stop. They've got to be kept in a hen house, basically. They've got to be isolated together and what have you. And still producing eggs, obviously, they always do. But because they may be contaminated, that may be why you're not getting them. And I say maybe.
Well, I can say this. There's a lot of, Indian shops and Polish shops where I live, and all of them have got eggs. All of them, apart from the supermarket. So that's an odd one in itself to me.
Yeah. Well, the supermarkets, I mean, where are they? Well, I'll not go into them anymore.
We got a new guest on, guys. It's Akash.
Evening,
Good evening, Ak.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good to see you all.
How you doing? All right.
Yeah, I was just having a cough and a talk.
Can I quickly tell you this joke? I mean, please listen to this joke because it's not racist in the slightest. But I was put backstage as I went to say the punchline. Do you mind if I say it? It's not racist or anything in any way.
Get on with it.
Well, the joke was, what do you call a Rastafarian? No, hang on, an Irish Rastafarian, and it was just. Sorry.
I don't know. What do you call an Irish Rastafarian?
A padlock. I was kicked backstage over that joke. They said they deemed it as a racist joke. That's what a snowflake were. Well, I didn't know these channels were the BBC.
Guys, I know a few new people have come in. Thanks very much for coming in. As usual, it never stops. And look who's on. Honestly, I couldn't wish for better. You know, John's on, Mark's on. Good to see Mark again. And Mark's come on. I did tag Ash, in the title because I think it's only fair that Mark's going to groan here. And a lot of you will.
No, listen, I'm not. I don't. That's Ark's opinion. I'll listen to it.
We've got to do the flat Earth thing for a bit.
Yeah, go on, mate. Yeah, I'm not.
You know what I mean? It's only fair because he came on.
See, the only thing. Can I just say this before Ark starts, Dino? Is I know he's very well versed in whatever I say. He'll have a counter argument with me. Because he's well versed in it. I'm not well versed in it. So he'd probably destroy me tonight. But I know
he wouldn't want to. I just think
I mean, look, if I say this, he's got a counter argument, and I know he has, but yes, I'm gone, mate.
Yeah,
well, it's all good on here. So there's no trouble on here whatsoever. So let's everyone's come on, let's have a listen because for me it's interesting, and I've looked up on it myself quite a lot, and I'm going back a few years as well before I started YouTube and things like that. Eric brought it up one night. I promised Eric we'll talk about it one night. Things changed and things like that, like they do on YouTube. Then he came back, we talked about it, and it would groan and moan and things like that. And I'm going, hang on a minute, what about this? What about that? And then people who were on were saying, hang on, I didn't think about that. Do you know what? You know, do you know what? So as long as people are going, hey, do you know, well, go on then, you know. So it's only fair. And the other night, he stayed on and I said, right, we'll talk about it. And then it just went into one of them. He didn't get the chance. So Eric, how you doing? Let's do some flat Earth. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shall I give you the starter, mate, so you can sort of like progress?
Anybody? Yeah. Let's go.
Right. I've looked into it. I mean, I've heard you speak about it in past and what have you, and I've looked into it, and I've got an open mind. I'll look into things like that. I've got certain questions, but there's one question that sticks in my mind, and I put it on different forums and what have you, and I've not had an answer yet. Right. If the Earth is flat, right, which, you know, there's theories out there to say it is, right? I'm not agreeing, I'm not disagreeing. But when I look at the moon at certain times of month, at the beginning of the month, it's a small crescent. And as the month goes on, that crescent becomes bigger until it becomes a full moon. Now, while it's a crescent, what's causing that crescent? It's the shadow from the Earth blocking the sun, and you're getting that crescent shape. And I've asked, why are you getting a crescent shape if the Earth is flat? You only get a crescent shape if the Earth was round. And I've never had a feasible answer come back to me with that one. And it also goes for when you get in an eclipse, a partial eclipse or a full eclipse. A partial eclipse is better because you can see that it's the Earth that's curved, making that sort of concave shape.
Right. No, that's perfect.
So what I'm saying is, Ash, if that, why am I seeing that if the Earth is flat? So that's your starter for 10, if you like.
Ash, it's all yours, mate. Good
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah, so we first of all we're asking about the shape of the Earth, and then we're looking up at the sky to the moon.
Right. Okay.
You would never do that, and you would only have to go by the basis of first that you're living in a universe, in a heliocentric universe, with everything in sync and spinning around in all these different directions, like they are anywhere, to have that effect. So
Right.
it comes
But
from
how can something that's flat cause?
well, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry, how do you imagine flat Earth? Because for me, I've said it to Ash, I've said it before, flat Earth, it's the wrong term. It gives people this perception, flat Earthers and flat, it's flat, where's the edge and all that. What about it's a plane and it doesn't move and everything else moves around it? Why is it called a planet? If you take the T off the end of that word, it's called a plane. And a planet means plural, so maybe there's more than one plane knocking about. Don't imagine something to be just totally flat, because people say, how come there's mountains and things like that? That's called topography. Upon a flat Earth, even if it's round, there's still flat areas on the Earth, even if it's round.
Well, when they say flat, they just mean over they mean over a massive area. If you were to go up, massively in the sky and look over it as one, and we know there's hills, mountains, there's divots and valleys and all that. Yeah, we're not claiming it's perfectly flat like a pancake. If you actually zoomed in on a pancake, it is like it's the same as.
Some people actually believe that, though. You know that they actually believe.
I mean, my opening questions here, mate. My opening question weren't sort of taking a piss or anything like that. It's just my perspective. How do you get a concave shape on the moon when it's the Earth that is blocking the sun's light to it? And like I said, I've had nobody explain it to me.
Yeah, well,
how you can get that if it's a flat Earth. If it's a flat Earth, you're not going to get a concave shadow on the moon.
Let me put it this way. Let her speak, but I want to say this, right? Forget the word flat Earth. Let's just say we're not moving and everything else around us is.
Right, okay. Right, I'm looking at that picture now that you put up.
Yeah, so the first mistake is people look at that and then you put this into your world of the universe, and the sun being 93 million miles away, and the same gravity works on it works the same on all these other planets that all have other moons and stuff like that. And none of that makes sense. Like when you try and put this in with like moving through the galaxy chasing. So the way I look at it is, as a human, you can get a telescope, a microscope, and you can zoom in to cells you cannot see on your own skin. Take one of them cells and put it in the middle of a football pitch. It's tiny. You cannot see it. And over just that football pitch alone, it's just a massive area. And like that, you've got two luminaries, a positive and a negative, a light for the day and a light for the night, as you would say. And that's your sun's your fast one, so that becomes your hour, and your moon will be your minute. And then you have your stars.
But I understand what you're saying. But how do we get the concave crescent on the moon made by the Earth? Like I said,
that's what you
says it's done by that.
But who says it is? Looking at that picture there, all the shadows are on Earth, on the floor.
But that's just a picture.
One. Yeah, it's just a picture, but it's a way I'm just explaining. Like it's an easy way to get the image.
I kind of understand what you're saying, but when I'm looking out the window now, I'm looking at the moon, and it's got a concave.
Yeah.
Image on it. Now, what is causing that image?
All right, so
just imagine you weren't told what it is, right? So you're looking out your window and you see that, right?
What is? That's all I need to know, because nobody's been able to tell me, and I've asked many times.
It's on its way through the portal. That's what it is.
You've been told a lot of things to make you perceive certain things.
So if you fill a sink full of water, and you get a plate. Because who told us that the moon was a ball or a rock? How do we know it's not a plate? How do we know it's not like a flat disc, like a satellite dish? Because that's what they claim it to be for a long time, just a big satellite.
I have
Yeah.
a couple of things. Just one for you.
Yeah, go on.
Well, two, because I said couple. One, why does the moon and the sun appear in the sky at the same time? If it's so-called what they're telling us, that shouldn't happen.
Let him answer my question first, because I'm intrigued.
How come the moon, right? You see the face of the moon, you see the big eyes and all that, whatever you want to see it as, it never changes. But yet, does anyone know how fast the moon is meant to be rotating? So if anyone thinks they know what's really going on, can anyone give me the answer to that? Because I know it. How fast is the moon rotating around itself? Not around the Earth.
Let's go back to my question.
So we can believe what we want without knowing.
Can I just sort of get an answer or some kind of explanation?
As long as I finish what I'm saying.
Even if I can answer the question, though, Mr. Eddie.
Go on, sorry.
Even if I can answer the question about the moon, it still doesn't give you the answer about the Earth. This is what I'm saying. You're asking, is the Earth flat? And then your next question is, well, what about the moon? So we've got
forget the moon. Right, the moon is what I'm saying. It's a circular shape in the sky.
Yeah.
What is causing the crescent on that moon? It's something circular that's causing that shadow. Now you've got the sun at
there is one theory that the moon is something about something, and maybe there's something inside the moon that causes that darkness and changes of light, rather than any reflection or anything like that. How do you know what the moon's about? It never changes space.
I don't know what the moon's about. I'm asking what causes.
I know you are, but it's like you're going off what you're told, like through science and things like that. And it's like it's very.
I'm going off what I'm looking at right now.
If you're told everything's round and you see reflections and it comes off as a round shape, and what's going on there? Reflections. I mean, why is the sky blue? And when I ask that to people, people say it's the reflection of the sea and the sunlight. Well, how come, in other words, all we've got on this planet, is sea, because the sky's blue everywhere when it's blue.
Just going to jump in here. John's going about
in the sky. I'm only speculating. Do you know what I mean? I don't think all is what it seems, and
all right,
we're always told lies. And
let me just get a word in. John's leaving, mate.
But see, you can get a word in, but
he wants to say goodbye, John.
See you later, chaps.
See you later, John. Take care, fella.
John, thanks very much.
Mate.
Honestly, love your presence. Thanks for saying what you say. You're brilliant. It's all down to earth. It's all, pucker stuff. So up the hammers.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what, John? Please come on again.
Yeah, I will.
I
will, man. I will.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Cheers. See you later, Ash. Good man.
No worries, mate. Rest well. Much love, mate.
I met Ash at Oxford. He's the top fella, man. Top fella.
Oh, nice.
See you later.
See you later, John. Bye, mate.
Cheers, man.
Thank you, mate. Thanks. Yeah. Top guy. Yeah, so yeah. And do you know what? This subject, right, it's funny.
I've got a test for Eddie. So
it really upsets people, and I don't understand why it does. And, well, part of it for me is they belong to this so beloved earth thing, what they've been taught. It's very hard to get out of it. And to experience someone talking about something being flat and not moving, and rather it's the other way around where everything else is moving around us. But when you go back in time, that was mentioned before we were born. It was said before.
I've said I've got an open mind and I look into stuff, everything else. Right, Ash, you said you've got something to throw at me. Go on then, mate.
Yeah, just so something that a lot of people do is photography.
Yeah,
I think this is taken from about 50 miles away, Lake Michigan. They claim this was a mirage where
seen this before.
Light reflection bends around a curved surface and appears like normal, like a photo there. But yeah, if you're a little test, just go out and find some like different locations across some bodies of water and see if you can see any curvature.
Well, I ain't got a lens that'll focus 50 now, mate. I've got a good one, but it's not that good.
Yeah.
What Ash is saying there is, according to science, right, the curvature of the Earth mathematically is worked out like this. It's 1 inch per 8 square mile. So for every 8 miles, it drops 1 inch, and then it's timed. So for 2 miles, it's 32 inch, and it drops down and it drops down like that. This picture is taken from 50 odd miles away, which means that what you see on screen right now should not be there. It should be below the horizon, according to what we get told by scientists. So that makes a mockery of what they've told us. So why is that happening? That is a true picture.
Well, at 10 miles, you get 66.6.
It wouldn't happen. The top of them buildings there would not be seen according to the Earth's calculator.
Yeah, what you're seeing there it's a mirage.
Did anyone else know that it's calculated at 1 inch per square, 8 inch per square mile squared? Did anyone know that? No, right. So you can't really judge, that shouldn't be happening according to what you believe in.
Ash, you said that's a mirage.
So that's what they're claiming as on.
That's what they say it is. Yeah, that's their excuse. They're saying it's not a real photo, which it is, and they're saying, "Hang on, you're trying to say it's flat when it's not." But then again, oh shit, yeah, but we've told you that calculation, right? How do we get out of this one? It's a mirage. And it even went on the national news about it as well, because loads of people were questioning it, saying, hang on a minute, you're saying this about all that calculation, and we really shouldn't be seeing them buildings at all. Not even the top of them. How high are they? Very high as well. Don't forget about that. You shouldn't be seeing that.
Yeah, so how do you calculate
teaching us about that? You should not see that image at all, according to them, not us, them. And no one knew about that 8 inch per square mile or anything like that. So it's easy to judge and say, and things like that. Look into it.
But look
into it first.
And also that them buildings there should be tilting away, because they're on the other side, aren't they? So they should all be facing the opposite way. But you can zoom right in there and see people walking around.
Flight paths, 500 mile an hour, plane, aeroplane, that's about average these days. 550 miles an hour, every direction. So with the Earth spinning like that, the Earth spinning at, you're going to have to remind me, is it 66.6 thousand miles an hour or something?
No, it spins from east to west around about 1,013 miles an hour or something like that. 37 miles.
So, right, in other words, that aeroplane, if they're flying against the spin, if they're going west and it's spin, so they're going to have to double their speed to exact that time flight compared to coming back the other way as well at the same speed of the plane. So that doesn't add up to me either. I don't get that. How come it takes the same amount of time to go that way and that way back when you've got a different speed going against you, and you're limited to a certain speed each time? So 500 miles an hour versus 1,000 and odd miles an hour constantly, and you're going in different directions, but yet it takes the same amount of time to get from there and back, and etc. How do you work that one out?
What about the jet streams? Like, look at the shape of it on a globe. It goes in all different directions. But when you just
how come the North Star never moves? How come it's always fixated there, there against the North Pole as well?
Can I ask a question?
No. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Mark.
Well, before before Columbus, he was the one who said Earth was a globe. Am I correct?
Yeah.
No, he
Before
said
him, they said it was. Before him, hang on. Before him, they said it was flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I take it he circumnated the.
Yeah. So
the
we've got all this
seas.
history, Mark, from one guy.
Okay, well let me finish.
Yeah.
Now you lot quote that they say it's. Let me try and get this right. So what? Yeah, you're saying there's a group of people what are saying the Earth's now a globe. What I can't understand is why did the group of people change their mind all them years ago to say, hang on a minute, let's tell them a lie and say it's a globe, and then go. Well, why did they do that?
Better than me, but I think it's part of the system of disbelief. So it's making people think that they are somewhere where they are not, and you can look around and be convinced. And it really can look like we are actually spinning round at all them speeds, according to these books, programs, CGI things, what are going on, documentaries and things like that. Convincing, right? But it's not real. Most of it's CGI and things like that. You can tell. You can actually really tell. There's a difference between CGI and real footage of things. Do you know, a lot of it doesn't make sense. And when they said, and this is an ex-astronaut who said this, we can't go back to the moon anymore. Why not? Said the interviewer. We've lost the trajectory to that program. We can't do that anymore. We can't go back to the moon. But hang on, you've just sent a bloody rover to Mars. So you've not got the capability to go to something that's only 250,000 miles away, which doesn't spin because it always looks the same and just moves around like that, rather than moving around like that, like everything else is supposed to be doing. Same with the sun. It's just a fucking disc. It's just round.
Yeah, well, the point is, Dino, is sorry. The point is, Dino, what I'm trying to say is, so they told the truth first, yeah? This is what you're saying, the elites or whatever at the time told. Does anyone know when Columbus circumnavigated the
1400s? 1400s.
So 1400, they decided, hang on, we won't tell them it's flat anymore. We'll tell them it's a globe. Well, what reason did they do that? That's what I'm trying to get at. Control of what, though?
Misconception.
Before you get control, you've got containment.
If
it's flat, you're contained anyway. So if it's round or flat, you're contained.
Yeah, either way, yeah.
One, you're going to hit a wall. The other one, you're just going to walk around the globe. So you're contained anyway.
But to be honest with you, I'm not being funny, guys, right? But do you know when you read about it and you see what they say and, you know, and they come out with it everywhere, mainstream and everything and documentaries and they say, look, these are the speeds that everything's going about. But honest to God, guys, right? If you stood still and you were traveling at them speeds, would you not feel any movement at all? I mean, come on. And how come nothing changes? So apparently our galaxy or whatever, we're all compared to this. So we got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, all that. We've got all that. And we're all meant to be traveling in one direction like that, straightforward, like that, right? And you've got all these constellations like that. And apparently they don't move. So they stay the same, right? And we're traveling at so much speed, we should have passed that by now. But yet we see the same thing in the sky every night. And the polar star never moves. and it always hovers above the North Pole. And then I could go deeper. I could even say something like Father Christmas, North Pole. But how come nothing moves up there? We're meant to be moving so fast. This fucking thing we've been watching for all of our lives, up above us in the sky, i.e. the stars, etc., constellations, seem to just want to hang around as if they're following us. But according to science, that's impossible. So what's going on? Are we moving? Are we stable? Are we just stable and things are moving about around us instead for whatever reason? But yet there's one star, the polar star, the North Star.
Polaris.
It never moves. How can everything be moving when nothing moves? Because it doesn't. It doesn't. So when you look at it and we're going, fuck off, straight down that way into infinity and beyond, these things aren't following us because they ain't moving. They're staying with us, but they're not allowed to move with us because we're passing on from that star system, that constellation, that area of infinity, that space. It doesn't add up. Everything seems the same all the time. I don't feel movement. I don't.
Well, what about this, Dino? Like, whenever have you seen from like an explosion, a birth you would never throw a grenade, and when it explodes, something happens where an eye can see. That's magical. That's created. That everything that in the world that you can see, touch, and feel, it's all created by a man. Whether it's a camera, the duvet, your shoes. Everything's got a creator. Something
see that map there?
Something,
right.
Yeah.
Right. See this map? Right. See that? Right. That is a map made up by scientists to tell us, right? So this is not us. This is them telling us, like they say, 2 + 2 = 4, right? Everything they tell us, a lot of people, right, I believe it. Look at that. They created that map years before we were born. And they brought us up into a different thing. But that map still exists. If you look at the NATO map, the blue and white again, on their map, it's a flat map like that. It's the azimuthal flat map. And all the navies went by that map. There you go. There it is. So why are NATO peacekeepers,
United Nations,
doing the same map as that, right? Why? Yeah. Why is Antarctica so protected as a piece of ice? You are not coming into this part of land. No way. Fuck
all
off.
For penguins.
There's something here we don't want you to see, North Pole. Polaris never moves, etc.
Well,
there is something.
Well, what about all the operations that they did? They started with paperclip and they ended up with, I think it was deep freeze. The Operation Deep Freeze was the final. They put the lid on it all and said, right, we'll never talk about this and we'll go with the globe. And that's what they did. They kept our eyes away, just like a magician does, when he's got things up his sleeve. And for a long while, there was excitement in the world.
Listen, Master On, what are you asking Bikereddie for? It's up to me, no one else.
Yeah, we realised out there, outside of Antarctica, what we discovered is there was more resources out there for the world to millions of years. There was minerals and everything that was out there. There was gold, you name it, was out there. What else did they find when you were out there? Because we never got to find out. They didn't tell us. As I say, they took us to space, didn't they? Where did the space race come from? That's when that started.
Yeah. Well, the space race was different to what you're saying here. The space race was about.
Really though, Mark, isn't it all connected?
Well, because it was the Russians and the USA trying to do one on each other. Yeah, that's what the space race was about. Them two battling each other as a superpower. Now you're taking let me ask you the question again, because you haven't answered it. Why did they change their mind then to say it was flat for all them hundreds of years? And according to James Patrick, in 1492, Columbus set off to circumnavigate the world, and he went round it and came back and said, hang on a minute, it's a globe. Now you guys are trying to tell me it's flat again. Now, what I want to know is why.
You're listening to a dead guy from hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. Well, I know who's the man who's the first man to spot it. James might get me quick to that. The guy who's in Crow's Nest or that shit was a guy called Rodrigo Di Triano. Right, and I don't Google things.
No worries,
but
man.
I just want to know why. You can't give me a good enough reason why.
Yeah, I can't believe how much people love their beloved Earth.
I know.
And all people do is recite what they've been told by other people. You've got people who've looked into things. They're coming up with stuff. People don't like it. It's argumentative, definitely. But it's worth a debate. You know what I mean? Don't fall out.
No, I'm not. Listen, I would never fall out with Arkash. I'm not going to fall out with him on the subject.
We're talking about. There's some people, right? They've been asked questions, silence, no answer to it. So what's your answer to? Because you haven't had that answer. You know that all people are doing is reciting what they've been told or what they've read in books and things like that. You know that. You know. What about a different perception on it? Do you actually feel movement? Do you actually see that North Star moving? Do you actually think we've actually gone past all that within, how long have you been alive? I haven't seen any difference whatsoever, but we're meant to be moving away from it all. We're meant to be pissing about at mega speeds. And I can sit back here now and feel fuck all. All I feel is still. You know, you're not telling me.
I'll tell you what you should do.
Physically wise, you won't feel movement.
Are you allowed to play music that's not copyrighted? Anyway, it's free. Can we listen to a song?
No, please? Depends. What song is it?
Eddie can go check his channel out if you want. It says on there it's all free to use.
Don't get upset, guys, over this subject. It's interesting. Do you not think?
Rather than argue, and I think music's better.
When you listen to music, because a lot of you have not come up with an answer, and we can't come. I say we, you know, can't come up with an answer either. It's like, what's going on? I just believe, I don't believe in what I've been told, and I don't really. My feelings say what you've told me. I don't really feel that that's entirely true, and things like that. Which
right, guys, I'm just going to butt in. Right, I've been quiet now for half an hour. Right, I'm going to go to bed, so I'm going to say good night. I'm going to leave you to it. Ark, yeah, I put a question to you. You did come up with an answer that proves what I'm looking at, but fair play to you, mate. I do respect what you're talking about.
I never got a chance to quickly. Yes,
I know you did, mate. So don't worry about it. It's not an issue. I don't disagree with you. I don't agree with you. It's just something that I'll look into. I'll make my own mind up on it. And fair play to you, mate, with what you're trying to come across with. I've got no issue with that. So everybody in the chat, I'm going to say good night to you all. Take care, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, Eddie, mate.
Take care. Look after yourself. Twat in the chat, signing out. I'm away. Bye-bye.
Good night, mate. Thanks for everything. Cheers, pal.
Over and out.
Over and out. There he is. I can't praise him enough, to be honest with you, for what he does for me. Not just on the channel, but, you know, in private life as well. You know, if I need someone to talk to, you know. So cheers, mate. Thanks very much indeed. Luke, don't get upset over this subject. You know, it's becoming wider.
Are people getting upset in the chat? I haven't really got the chat on. I can just see Bright backstage.
There's a lot to it, you know what I mean? And a lot of people can't come up with an answer to questions about it and vice versa. So obviously there's something that doesn't add up about it. You know, and there is evidence. There is evidence about certain things on the flat Earth thing. I hate that word. I hate flat Earth.
Yeah, so do I. It really grinds on us now.
You know what I mean? It's
I
not
like to say this, Dino. Where's the evidence of a globe?
There isn't. There is there. I mean, has anyone got a real picture of
No.
Yeah, something. I think you put one up earlier.
What about my picture though, Mark? There, taken from he's called John. Taken from a weather balloon, amateur weather balloon. He sent up. What about that picture? You can see to the horizon there. I think it's over like 2,500 miles. Calculated, no curvature. He's seen most.
In all due respect, Arkash, I don't really ever study flat Earth, and I don't think I ever will, to be quite honest. For the fact that, like I said, it just seems in why. What difference would it make if it was a globe or flat?
Well, do you know what, Mark? To be
honest,
like when the flu, it would mean that we've been really lied to a lot, and to actually feel and think that we're actually in a certain place which we're not.
Yeah.
And do you know, that would be very horrible to me. You know, and it's like, what have my eyes seen? And it's like, yeah, it looks that way because they've told us it's that way, but actually it can be that way as well, which they haven't told us about. And it's like, well, yeah, like simple mathematics or whatever, but we just believe what we've been told.
See, I'll be quite honest, and listen, I'm really serious when I say this. If I was really convinced, like some of you guys are, I would get in a car, and I would just drive east, get on a boat, go east, and I'd carry a compass with me all the way round until I come to see what had happened.
The compass will always point north. It will always point north magnetically.
Yeah, we know that, but then you can follow it east then if it's...
Well, you're just going to go around in a circle.
Just the compass. You don't have to.
All right. Well, I would just go one way. Let's just put it that way and prove it to myself, because it's a subject like I said. I don't get what you said. Oh, we've been lied to all our lives. Yeah, by mainstream media, we've been lied to. Mainly through what's gone on recently, because the power of mainstream media wasn't what it was 100 years ago. It was in a few books and papers. Now, mainstream media now is what we're on. Believe it or not, is everything what's in your face. A news thing, and when it's pumped into you so much, you're going to believe it. Well, I don't think mainstream media existed in 1466, whatever year it was.
You're right.
So I don't. So I don't. The church would have been mainstream media, I suppose.
Right. Forget mainstream media. Beliefs, people's beliefs and things like that. You got your guys on your horses, your messengers. There's the news. All that. We can go back, but it were people's beliefs back then. Even back then, there was big beliefs.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, I mean, you only got to look at the.
But before the thing came out, because I've looked back, before all this came out, it was always flat. That's a bit weird. So people think flat thing is a new thing. It's not. The globe thing came after the flat thing. Then it got and then it stuck with the globe. And now, if anyone mentions flat, it's like, how dare you destroy our beloved bloody spinning, all this shit. Don't forget, at the beginning, it was always flat. It was flat before anything, according to the, people before Columbus and people like that. So, you know what? Who knows? Maybe it's not flat and maybe it's not round. It could be something else. For me, the way they explain what it is just does not add up whatsoever. Some of it does, but they can't say that you know, that spins that way and the sun goes that way and it's a cycle and the moon goes that way. Well, how the fuck? And they say light and dark. So if it's light over here in Australia, down under, it's dark and all those different hours and things like that. How the fuck, right? Do you get a clear blue sky where the sun and the moon look like that, very close to each other? So what's happening in Australia when I see that up here? How dark is it there now? You know, how come you get two bodies like that in the sky at the same time during where we are, Northern Hemisphere, at the same time during the daytime? How do you explain that according to what they say? Everything's meant to be in a, you know, when it's moonlight, it means you're in the dark. And when it's sunlight, you're in the daytime. But how come? What is it when they're both in the sky at the same time? Why does it take the same amount of time to fly that way and that way when things are against you in speed and motion and time? It doesn't work out for me like that. There's something going on. Whether it's flat or whatever, I hate that term. But for me,
What can I ask why you both hate that term?
Here, there's a lot of motion going on elsewhere.
Yeah,
sorry, can I ask both of you? You seem to hate the term being called flat earthers. Why?
Because it's just been ruined.
Because of people's perceptions of it, Mark.
Yeah.
They actually think it's actually flat like that. And some people actually think there's an edge and things like that. People say space, what's space? Right, is there an end to it? No, it's infinity. It goes on forever and ever and ever.
Well, right? we know that, do we?
Is there an edge to the darkness, the dark matter, the infinity? Is there an edge to that? What's beyond that?
Who's to say we don't live in a cube?
Exactly, Mark.
Oh, well,
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But listen, the flat Earth. Sorry, honestly, I'm not buying it, lads. I know you've done a lot of research into it, by the way you talk.
Mark, it's not about doing research, brother. It's just about observing things in life that you can see, measure, and repeat. You know that.
Well, I'm sure I can't remember now, but I'm sure I've been on a plane on a clear day, and I could see curvature. I'm pretty sure of that.
You cannot, Mark. I'm sure, like. Yeah,
I'm sure I have.
Well, if you can see it, Mark, I should be able to see it, and I can't fucking find it. I've been looking for it for a long while. This is how
I've taken photos from a plane, and you know,
you can use a fisheye lens, which is what you do.
Photos on a different plane, right? And it's looked a bit like that. Do you know why? Because the fucking window I was taking the picture out of was fisheye lensed wise. So it doesn't matter what picture, it's always going to look curved, and things like that. An aeroplane window, things like that. But yeah, I've got loads of pictures of, do you know what I mean? Does anybody feel like they're moving around? Like, because all these speeds that they're telling us that's going on, it's ridiculous. You would know if there's something moving fast and you're stood upon it or sat upon it. Imagine being on a fairground ride and you're moving around and things like that. Some people, I've said this to people before, and they've said, yeah, but I'm sat still, so I don't really feel any movement because I'm sat there and everything else is moving around me. But I'm sorry, you're lying, because you do feel movement, because you're moving around. You're moving around. But because you sat in one space doing, you're not moving. So come on, who feels movement? We're talking about thousands of miles an hour here. There's no way you can just sit there and think we're not moving. We're moving, because I don't feel a bloody thing. And when things are moving, there's a vibration as well. So maybe it's half true. I don't know. I just don't believe in what they've said, to be honest. If someone's going to say to me, there's the moon, it's 250,000 miles away as such, which I think, is that roughly it?
Yeah, something like that. Too.
How come it doesn't? And they say, oh, it's rotating at such a speed.
Well,
if anything were rotating, you would definitely see something different at some point in time, rather than seeing the same thing all the time. So how is that moving when it just looks like that all the time? It's going round like that, never moves, like in that way, never rotates. It's just going like that. Hello,
we're underneath, so we only see
hello
it from
again.
the bottom.
Bye. Don't understand things like that.
Right, listen, guys, I've got to go to bed anyway. So,
Mark, I'll put a video backstage for you.
Don't fall out with me, mate, please.
no. Honestly, it's listen. Everyone's entitled to their opinions and their beliefs. You know, I'm just not up for that one. So,
all right,
Mark, that's where I stand with it. I just don't believe anything they say. So if I don't believe that they say, if they say I live on a globe and I don't believe it, then it must be flat.
That's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough, mate.
And that's where I stand.
Yeah.
Do you
know what? It's not something new. It is a subject, and don't forget, you can look it up. Flat Earth was around before globe Earth, so think about that as well. You know, don't believe everything you're told. Every comic book they bring out, look at it, right? If you believe that's real images, I mean, honestly, really, you know, comic books, annuals, movies, it makes a lot of bloody money, I'll tell you that, sci-fi and stuff like that. God knows where we are. Some people say, oh, it's the Matrix. They've only started saying that since they saw a film called The Matrix. You know,
I've never seen the movie.
God, where are we? I don't know. What are we on? I don't know. I just cannot believe what they've told me. I don't feel what they've told me. I don't experience what they've told me. I don't see what they've told me. It could be true, but I just don't see it and I don't feel it. So there's something else going on. But I don't know what it is. So I hate the word flat earth. I hate that.
So before I go, Dino, what else would you just... We're not going to... So I'm a glober, yeah? I'm not going to call you guys flat earthers. What should I call you?
Non-globers.
What?
Non-glober.
Non-globers. Yeah. Okay, non-globers, I'm going to bed, yeah? So...
Don't you dare fall out with me.
No, because I just, that's your stuff. It's not mine. Dino, take it easy, mate. No, I don't fall out with people over stuff like this, but take it easy, yeah? Thanks for having me on, Dino.
See you later, Mark.
Thank you. Chat, take it easy.
Thank you.
Good on you.
He's a good Mark. He's a legend. That's Mark, and I've always tried to be in between, but I can't help myself. Tonight, I called it months ago, and I'm trying to think, oh shit, how do I play this one? And sorry, but I am.
He knows it finally came out.
It's the way I've gone. I've looked into it. I'm not just saying it. I have been looking into it as well, and things like that. And a lot of it doesn't add up. The flat Earth stuff doesn't add up either. It's not like total bias. We just know there's something not right about what we've been told about spinning, fast moving stuff, what's going on about, and physically we don't really feel what they're saying. And hang on a minute, you're saying that, but hang on, there's nothing changing. It just seems like everything else is revolving around us. And I eventually got to that feeling.
Well, the sun and the moon do. We can see that, whether they go backwards and forwards, around in circles, or whatever they do. We observe them going over our heads day after day. We've been able to calculate the sun, the moon, and the stars. We've got two types of stars in fixed in the sky. You've got fixed stars and wandering stars, and these have been doing the same motions for millions and millions of years. All like people through history have been able to calculate years and years and years, like in advance. It's a beautiful timepiece. It shouldn't be laughed at. In like you believe in it, you come from from nothing. Nothing happened. For me, it was all just like the same as like fairy cake, like fairies and Santa Claus, and You know, when I finally realised, I just felt like all my life I'd just been lied to, and I was sad. Do you know, I broke down onto my knees and started crying. And then after when I got up, I felt like a new person because everything I seen and looked at and felt and touched was different to how I was before.
I can't believe, right? Because according to the physics and stuff like that, everything's in motion, right? Everything's in motion. And it has to be that shape, right? And it's all spinning and it's on a tilt and things like that. No evidence of that whatsoever. Pictures will convince people. And what annoys me is these pictures, some people can't distinguish that from a real one to a CGI or a Photoshop or whatever. I can't believe that. They might do on other Photoshop pictures when it comes to a more personal value, but not that, because it's a belief they've been born into. That's a shame. We all were, but I'm sorry, I'm one of them thinkers. I'm like Ark. It's like, hang on a minute, what? Okay, right. So we're spinning that. Right, I'll stand still. No, I don't feel anything at all. Just no movement whatsoever. Everywhere I go, anywhere I go, at any time, I don't feel any move. The only movement I feel is my movement. The only movement I see is when I look above on a clear night and they're moving. They're moving because I'm not moving. I know that. I can feel it. I'm not moving. It's still. Where I am is still. Otherwise, if it wasn't, I'd feel that it wasn't still, i.e. I'm moving. So I don't feel that. But yeah, I can look at something and observe and see evidence of something that is moving. I don't feel that either, but I can see it. Weird. You're in somewhere. You are somewhere. And it's not the place that they tell you you are in.
Yeah.
I
found that so magical.
How hard is that to disbelieve? Because we don't know any answers. We're just coming out with theories, just like your ball Earth is a theory and gravity is a theory, etc. What's the difference?
And I don't claim anything to
Because
say.
authorities and scientists have told you this, and doctors and teachers and mathematicians have told you this, and you put your faith in these people who've also been brainwashed. If you think a bit deeper, they've been told and taught and educated and qualified to tell you this as well without them giving a fuck and just wanting to be a teacher and learn that to pass it on to you without them giving a fuck about what it means. Do you not think about things like that rather than just well, he's a teacher, he's a lecturer, he's a, I believe him. Yo, who is he? Who's that? I don't know him. No, I believe him. I'm in class. I'm learning. I'm studying. He's right. He's learned. He knows. He knows fuck all. He's been trained to tell you that. Like a politician has been trained and scripted to tell you that. What is going on above all this? Can I leave you to it for a minute? Because I need a
no problem,
Dean. Guys, do not put anyone down, right? It's a serious subject at the end of the day.
Let's click on the comments.
Shame that it should
be because
all people are coming back with is what they've been told by teachers, politicians, mathematicians, and things like that. The same people at the same time who you say wankers, bollocks, shit, bullshit, lies. Think about that. You've not all left me, have you?
What?
I'm not used to it being quiet. Yeah, what Ash is showing you there is the amount of different images of the true Earth.
No one hear that?
And Ash, take it away, mate. Go on.
I was just playing a video. Could no one hear it?
Try again.
Oh, I think it was.
Right. That picture there. Go on, Ike.
No, just apologise. I didn't realise what I was doing.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, those pictures there are official pictures from NASA and people like that. So, how many times does Earth have to change its appearance? I mean, how many? You could say, look at all these different planets in our universe. Which one is Earth? There's only one, really, isn't there? So, which one's real? Why do they keep changing the image of it? I mean, they did no need to. They've got satellites and space stations and spaceships.
Well, why can't it? Why have they got to take lots of photographs and stitch them all together?
Oh yeah, oh god, is that the video you wanted to bring up with that guy?
No.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is funny. If I can bring it up, then see what you think. Do you know what I mean? Deny it all you want. I'm not sure for real what's really going on. But why would they do this? Why would they do this? And people go, "Oh, that's a nice new image," and without even thinking that there's one guy or a group of people who actually stitch this thing together and composite it. So it's not if you have a real photo of something, you just take it there and then show it out. You don't change it. You don't put pieces together and create that image or them images, what are on screen now. Which one is Earth? Right. Which one of them images is the actual Earth? Anybody?
None
Which
of them.
one?
They're all done by a man.
This is not us making it up. This is what we're being told. This is what we're being shown and taught. It's what they're telling us. This is science. This is the maths. This is look. This is what we've got. Look at this. This is where you're living. Which one? Which one of them? I don't know.
One of them is it's got the word sex.
I'll go for the middle row, second left.
I can see lie in the one on the left in the middle. I'm sure I can see lie there at the top. It looks like a bit like a 4 or a cross. You can, LIE. Sex in the middle one there, SEX. The one next to it. Yeah, they're laughing at you. They're laughing in your face. There's the first one, the first picture they ever took of the Earth, they took it through a piece of cardboard, a hole in a piece of cardboard through a window from a high altitude airplane. That's funny stuff. There's videos of it. Have you got the shot? Yeah, I got the shot. Remove the card. Okay, remove the card. They all just everything's made by design. They were paid to go do these things.
Listen, all you guys in here, great guys, right? We don't want to fall out. Anarchy, love you to pieces, right? It's a fair comment. Gravity is not a theory.
Well, scientists, they don't know what it is. Science as a whole, if you look at science, the 96% they don't know. They only know a little piece of what they think it is, and all that is if you drop something It falls, and that's all they know.
I just want to say, is it not called the theory of gravity?
Yeah, exactly.
So, Anarchy, Luke, we're talking about it. We're not, please, let's not fall out. It's a touchy subject. Everywhere I've been on this subject, there's a guy called Bro Sanchez. There's loads of people, loads of controversy about it. I don't understand why. Is it not something worth talking about? Because as there's a lot of people who said things where there's been no answer to. So, what's your answer to that? And that question, and how come, look at that picture there right now, we've all been shown these pictures. Now, how come the Earth's changed so many times and they're telling us it doesn't, and everything goes in the same direction and things like that? Well, what they're playing at here? Why all that? Can anyone say that any one of them pictures there of discs are real? Because this is what they're showing us. We're not showing you these. Well, we are. Well, Ark is, but he's brought up what they've shown us.
Yeah.
Gravity is
because
density and buoyancy. So if something's heavier than the Earth, it will fall. That's not something pulling it down. It's like heavier than the Earth in between. That's natural physics, nature. So it's like heavier than the Earth. A feather, which is heavier than the Earth, but not that heavy, so it takes longer to fall. So it depends on the weight and the buoyancy, but you're dealing with Earth and invisible stuff, and things fall like a leaf. How can a bee or a butterfly defy gravity? By being so small and flying away from it, and defy gravity if everything's pulling it down. How come the ocean, think about it. There's contradictions. Like a delicate thing like a butterfly cannot be pulled down. It will defy gravity. It will fly anywhere. Something that doesn't even weigh half a gram.
Do you want to play this there, Dino, please?
Hang on a minute. I've got another Ark backstage.
Oh, yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's...
Dark matter?
Yeah, dark energy, dark matter.
Thank you.
It's a plane.
Right, here we go, guys. Go for it, Ark. Volume. No volume.
Can you not hear it?
No. Try again.
Why
is there no volume on that?
You hear it?
I can hear you, but not the video.
I'm not too sure.
Right. It's all right, Ark. Sort it out. Let me look back in the chat. Guys, honestly, anyone who's coming, thanks very much indeed. Listen, it's a subject. I'm passionate about it, and things like that. I don't bring it up on lives, but I came in last night and I've tagged him in tonight because it's only fair we should talk about it as well. I don't understand why people get annoyed about it. I don't get that. To be honest, I think it's a fair, interesting, bloody subject. And you need to look into it before you judge things about it. Then you can come back and say, well, hang on a minute, Ark. You said that, but I've read that and I've looked into it. But no one does. They just automatically recite what they've been told by the books they've been given, the teachers and mathematicians and politicians and all that. Forget them. Forget them. Forget what they say. How about that? And unlearn things and then start again for yourself, you know, because you've hardly been allowed to be yourself if you think about it. So that's why them who do more than others are conspiratorialists or rebels or weirdos or whatever you want to call them. Oh, they're different. Yeah. Well, not really, but yeah, compared to you. But, well, we're all different, but you can still be as one as well. You know, that's humanity. That's what being human's about, you know. So much division and things like that. That's why we fall out. Things like that. It's not for me, don't worry. It's an ambulance. So yeah, I mean, just respect. I mean, I respect the theory of gravity, theory, the theory of whatever it is. It's always a theory, and I've even people have said to me, a theory means a fact. You said that to me once. I think it was
What's the insects?
You are. Do you remember that, Ark?
Yeah.
Said, what do you mean a theory is a fact? Completely two different things. It's either a theory or a fact. If it's a theory, it means you don't know the facts. That's why it's still a theory. If it's a fact, you know it. There it is, evident, the truth, fact. A theory means, hang on, we don't know, but we've got a good idea about what it is. And that can be manipulated because there's no evidence about it. But you can still make people believe in a theory.
I just can't believe people still believe the things they got taught when they were children. You know, we grew up into
That's where it starts, though, innit?
Wise.
That's where it starts, though, innit?
Yeah.
About that age, and then they call it education.
There's a globe in every classroom.
Education.
There's a globe. Yeah, they always show up before every movie you watch. It's always in your face. And it just seems so normal. But yeah.
Anarchy, fair play, mate. Let's not fall out about this subject. It seems a bit weird to me why people do.
Yeah, no. Do you know someone said to me once they could prove the Earth was a globe because they could send a radio wave left and it would come back right.
I don't know. It's like it's hard to detach against something that's strong. So you know, if you're brought up into a strong belief, I mean, you can't get stronger than where you live and what it's about and what it does. You don't know that. You've been told it. You don't know. Yeah, okay. You know, that's what it is. You know. Then you get older and people start butting in and saying, "What about this?" And hey, what about maybe it's this and that? Total straight away disbelief straight away. Look into it. They'll always come back with questions then. Oh yeah, I get right. I see what you mean by that. All right, but what about this? Right, that one there. I'm going to question you about that. I don't get that bit. But yeah, hang on a minute. It means their perception's already changed because they've looked into it. But yeah, I mean, there's that much evidence against it being a flat Earth, and there's that much evidence as well that it's not a globe or a spinning, like a round, upside down people type thing, which is solved by gravity. There's a theory, you know. Oh. Interesting. Don't get upset. It's a subject, you know. It went on long before it became a globe. You know, it was always that before the globe and things like that. And then, you know, you get people, and I've said, you know, how fast are we spinning? I don't know. Well, how can you believe? So the curvature calculation, what's that? Well, I don't know. You know, well, why did you look into that first, then come back with, I don't believe what you're saying? You know. Right. I don't know why Eric's jumped off, but it'll give me a chance to catch up with a few people. And I'm going to end it at 1:45. Anyway, I hope I've not upset anyone, but I have to entertain everything, really. Let's not fall out over this subject. The more you look into it, the more fascinating you become. I'll guarantee that. But don't believe it. Okay, thank you. Because that's what it is. Bastian. Okay, hey, it's fine, you know. Good stuff, guys. Honestly, thanks for your opinions and thanks for your politeness on it as well. I respect that. I've seen other channels where people just, you know, really start arguing badly, and you're not going to get anywhere like that. But do you know what? I do believe this subject, when certain people have spoke about it, it has made people think about it, because when they've been asked questions, they can't answer it. So hopefully that'll make them think more about it, you know, rather than assuming what they've been told is right, because that's not right, is it? James, I have done. Time zones. Okay. How much time does it take for the Earth to spin that way? And how much time does it take a 500 miles an hour aeroplane to go against the spin? And then when it comes back with the spin, how come it takes the same amount of time? And why don't the plane just hover above and not move? Because they're capable of just hovering and let the place where it's meant to be going to arrive to them instead. Don't add up. That does not add up for me. What do you mean then? Who invented time zones? Who invented time? Who invented a clock? Who invented 24 hours a day? Who said 60 minutes was 1 hour? Well, of course. But it's man-made time, right? Okie dokie. All right. Thanks for your respect on this one. I did promise Ark, to get his say on things. It's only fair. It's no different to anyone else coming on saying their thing. It's a subject that seems to upset people for some reason. When I first heard about it, it didn't upset me. I just thought, okay, All right then. I'll look into it a bit and that. So that's why I can ask questions about it, because I know the answers to the questions I'm asking, and people go against the subject and then they get asked a question and they can't answer it. And so I just think we need to back off on people who, believe in that theory. Gravity is a theory. According to science, I've not made that up. It's what they've told you, not me. So yeah, theory. Think of that word. Time invented time. No worries, honestly, guys. No worries. You know what it's like in here. I don't judge anyone or anything like that. I'm not. I want your opinion. I want your passion. Get it, give it, put it in there, but keep respectful and let's be grown up about things. Agree to disagree at the very worst. But it's great to see so many different opinions. And questions and things like that. How does an aircraft fly? I don't know. Pictures don't mean anything, correct? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Right. No. Okay. How far back is that? I'm going to finish, but I'm scrolling back, so I've just seen this one. How can you not feel anything when there's motion? So that's before you put a full stop. That's your first sentence. We don't feel the earth moving because the motion of the earth is constant and uniform. What, like a train or an airplane? When it dips in turbulence, you don't feel anything. You do, because there's motion going on. So are you saying because something's spinning so fast, you won't feel it? No, I'm sorry. As long as there's motion, you will feel that. Right, okay, Billy. I actually know the angle of the axis, the degree it's at. Can you answer me what degree of the axis the Earth is at? Rather than just say that. Do you want to tell me what the axis is, if you're still there? Because if you don't, then there's no point you putting. Do you know what I mean? Ask a question, but don't put a statement in as if that's the answer or anything. Look into it. Stop saying things that you've already been told by someone else. Okie doke. Right, I'm off. Thanks very much indeed. A surprise one, yeah. Just felt like having a chat again. Love your company and things like that. Every single guest who's been on, superb. Thanks very much indeed. John, Mark Kelly, Akash, I thank you so much. Brilliant stuff. Okay, so until Friday, if not before, you never know. I'll see you then, guys. So please take care and have a great rest of the week. And chill out. Love each other. Massive respect. Much love. See you soon.